like Coach said, ball out till you can't go no more. 60 minutes. Cowboys on 3. 1, 2, 3. Cowboys. We got all week to bust their ass. And that's what we're going to do today. Today a fun day. Today a Sunday. And let's ball. Put it on film. Put it in the stand. Wherever. Let's go. Mean it with your chest. Mean it with your heart. Goes on 3. 1, 2, 3. Go.
Speaking of intensity, I talked with one of the Lions' most intense, most fiery leaders, Center Dominic Raiola, who said last week's loss was a huge reminder, saying this team can deal with adversity. We do that with the best of them, but we're still learning how to handle success. We have a big win. We follow it up with a big failure. There is no such thing as a moral victory. We need this one today. I'm taking my kids to Disneyland next week for the bye week. I do not want to be shaking Mickey Mouse's hand and thinking about how we blew this game. Dick?
Well, it is an important game because the winner goes 5-3 at the midway point, which is a great start to a season. And there is Jeremy Ross, who will return the opening kick. Michael Spurlock, inactive today. He's been the punt and kickoff returner. And Dan Bailey getting set to start it off for the Cowboys. Cowboys trying to stretch their winning streak to 3. And the Lions trying to avoid a second straight home loss as this kick will sail and actually hit the upright. And the Lions will begin from the 20-yard line, having a terrific year as Matthew Stafford, who has 3 touchdown passes in consecutive games. He is on a roll, Coach.
There's a confidence in Matthew Stafford in not only what's going on around him, but the style of play. I think in large part due to the presence of Reggie Bush, they actually have balance in this offense.
Reggie Bush, by the way, had his right knee wrapped and did not practice on Friday. Some concern as to whether he was healthy. He said he was, and there he is as the tailback. First down from the 20. And we'll have a false start penalty to start the game, and it's against Larry Warford, the right guard, I believe.
False start. Offense, number 75. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
All right, the key players offensively for Detroit.
Well, you're starting the center with Dominic Raiola in his 13th and what some people are saying his best season. We talked about Reggie Bush, and obviously Brandon Pettigrew and Calvin Johnson are going to have a big impact on today's game if indeed they can beat the Cowboys.
So they start off in a bit of a hole, first down and 15 from the 15 and going to the air on the first play of the game, and the pass is caught by Ryan Broyles. As we look at the key players on the Cowboys side of the ball.
Well, Jason Hatcher on the defensive line is kind of like the last man standing. They've had so much attrition there. And Brandon Carr is going to look for a lot of help from Barry Church to try to stop Calvin Johnson.
And DeMarcus Ware with a strained thigh, inactive once again. He had played in 134 straight games. And that's 2 in a row he's out of there. Second down and 7. Play action. And the pass off the hands of Pettigrew, the tight end. And so that will bring up third down and 7. Let's take a look at the key inactives. And both teams have them today. And we mentioned DeMarcus Ware, but the wide receiver Miles Austin, DeMarco Murray, their top running back, also out. Their starting safety J.J. Wilcox. And there you see Burleson's been out for a while. And Spurlock we talked about. Third down and 7. Joique Bell has now come in at running back. Plenty of time, and going deep for Calvin Johnson, off his hands, incomplete, and covered downfield. And it was Brandon Carr, the cornerback, and he'll be a busy guy on Johnson.
Well, this is one of those patented jump balls, the high throws that Matthew Stafford's so comfortable in throwing to Calvin Johnson. We've said it many times. 2 people on Calvin Johnson doesn't mean that he's covered. Typically, he'll come down, particularly when he has a chance to gather himself and go up for it. He typically will come down with it.
So a penalty and then 3 and out. Low snap to Sam Martin. And a good kick here to Dwayne Harris inside the 15. And Dwayne Harris gets close to the 30-yard line. So here comes Tony Romo with his first appearance. And he led the Cowboys to that big win. And we have an injured player down on the field, and I think it's the kick returner, Harris, who is shaken up. That was a 64-yard punt by Martin, who had a tough punt last week, which set up the winning field goal for the Bengals. We'll be back.
By Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com.
No score, and Harris came off the field on his own power, and the Cowboys will start from the 30-yard line against this defensive team. And as you mentioned at the top, which defense is going to show up? We kind of figure the offenses will today, Coach.
Well, this Detroit team has struggled, but no more so than last week against Andy Dalton. He had over 300 yards throwing, 3 TDs, and only 1 sack. That would be my biggest concern, that they could only get to Andy Dalton 1 time.
Starting from the 30, Joseph Randle with his second start at running back with DeMarco Murray out of there. And Randle kind of loses his footing as he brings it out for a 5-yard gain. Let's look at the Cowboy people to look at.
Well, 2 rookies going to impact this game. We already talked about Travis Frederick on the inside and Terrence Williams on the outside, opposite Jason Witten and Des Bryant. They're going to get the lion's share, literally and figuratively, of the coverage. So obviously, the rookie Williams on the outside could have a big day.
And they bring in Travis Lewis, a linebacker, and Ndamukong Suh comes out on 2nd down and 5. Romo with a pump fake. Make it 2, and now he takes off. Penalty flag down, and Romo is tackled at the 36-yard line after picking up a couple of yards. And our first penalty of the game, the referee is Bill Vinovich today and his crew.
Holding. Defense number 28. 5-yard penalty from the end of the run. Automatic first down.
And a penalty against Bill Bentley, the nickelback for the Lions, and that will give the Cowboys a first down.
Okay, down here in the slot, so often when a quarterback scrambles, he's playing man coverage, he's trailing. He has no idea what Tony Romo, where he is or what's going on. And boy, he looks like he just got, trampled over the top of Cole Beasley. Beasley just kind of went down like a shot. So evidently they felt like he had too much contact with Beasley down the field.
Now the Cowboys at the 42. They're 3rd in the league in scoring offense at 29 points a game. And here's Randle cutting to the outside. And Randle is tackled shy of midfield. And it's Houston who makes the tackle from the secondary after the 7-yard pickup. Detroit defensively.
Well, with all the talk about their defensive linemen, Sue and Fairley, Gunther Cunningham, the defensive coordinator, said the key to their defense are these safeties, Louis Delmas and Glover Quinn.
And good news for Cowboy fans. Dwayne Harris just had the wind knocked out of him, so he should be back. We have a 2nd down and 3. In fact, there is Harris lining up in the slot to the left. And the handoff to Randle, and Randle is stopped for a loss of 3.
Well, you're just going to see this pressure right here. Bentley's going to shoot the gap, and uncharacteristic of Detroit, they're using the safeties. You can see pressure in there coming off the edge by Louis Delmas. Bentley like a linebacker there to kind of clean it up. So Detroit is pulling out all stops to try to put Dallas in a long 3rd down conversion.
Or Detroit's 2nd on 3rd down defense. And they're also 2nd and 3rd down offense. And here is Romo going deep on 3rd and 6. And the pass appears to be out of bounds. Terrence Williams, the receiver, as Romo takes a hit. And the go is incomplete.
Well, Williams is their speed guy out on the outside, and here the ball just far enough outside. He has no chance at all, and it's too bad because he took a shot for it, a very legal hit by Nick Fairley.
So it's 4th down, and Chris Jones will punt for the Cowboys. And this is Ryan Broyles back deep, and the kick goes into the end zone for a touchback. So Ryan Broyles returning punch today, and the Detroit Lions going back on offense in a scoreless game early in the first quarter.
Today's game is sponsored by Bud Light, official beer sponsor of the NFL.
All right, we're back here in Detroit, but the action will be in St. Louis tonight for Game 4 of the World Series. And what about last night's game with an obstruction call deciding the game in the 9th inning? Cardinals lead 2-1. It's shaping up to be a true fall classic, and the beards of the Red Sox try to come back.
Yeah, they're everywhere, aren't they?
First down from the 20, and here is Reggie Bush getting running room up the middle. And they don't mind running Bush. Good receiver out of the backfield to run up the middle, and he gets 7 yards.
And when they're able to get Reggie Bush into the flow like that, a simple first down run that they get 7 yards. Obviously for Scott Linehan to look down at his chart, 2nd 3, 2nd 4, pretty easy call, and it lends itself then to those play action passes against this really big, tall receiving group of the Detroit Lions down the field.
And Linehan says that the Cowboys are finding their groove defensively. You pointed it out at the top when they limited the Eagles to only 3. And here's the handoff to Bush again. And Reggie Bush will have a first down up to the 32-yard line, picking up 5 more yards. Sean Lee, the middle linebacker, making the tackle.
And what the Lions love, it's not like they have a big running game plan. By that I mean they don't have to practice a lot of plays. Reggie Bush, a great zone runner, basically give him the ball, let him use his vision, cut back, press the hole. He's just what the doctor ordered for this Detroit Lion team that was in total imbalance the last 2 years, heavily on the pass.
At 94 total yards in the losing game against Cincinnati. And here is Stafford, and Stafford going underneath to Reggie Bush. And Bush with a minimal gain out to the 36. And now for a game break, let's check in with Joel Klatt.
All right, thank you, Dick. And we go to London. Colin Kaepernick on the zone read. Gives it to Frank Gore. 19 yards later, he's in for the touchdown in Wembley. Dick and Brian, cheers from London.
Dick, I think these San Francisco 49ers are getting scary. They've refound that formula of the power running game. You better watch out for the Niners. We got them in a couple weeks.
I don't think it hurt them to lose a couple of games early on.
The proverbial wake-up call.
2nd down and 6. Here's Bush. A heavy dose of Reggie Bush early on for the Lions, and this is a gain of only 2. Free safety Barry Church on the stop for Bush, who has missed 1 game this year, that against the Redskins in Week 3, a game that the Lions won.
And it's interesting that we take Reggie Bush off the field on this 3rd down. This 3rd and 3 to 4s where typically you look for a matchup between Reggie Bush and a linebacker, maybe a safety. You know, they're going to come in and they like what they see in Joyce Bell. He's not bad out of the backfield as well. Plus, he's a pretty good pass protector.
Penalty. False start, 2nd one of the game against the Lions.
Full start. Offense number 87. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
So the tight end Brandon Pettigrew. So they got themselves in a hole with the false start on the first play from scrimmage, and now they do so again.
And this is what gives you gray hairs or runs you out of the business as a coach, because you just went from a convertible 3rd and 3 or 4. Usually you'll convert about 40-50% of those. You're now to a 3rd and long, where if you can convert 20% of them, you're ahead of the curve.
3rd down and 9 from the 33.
Reggie Bush back in the game in the slot.
And a timeout called by the Cowboys. So it has to be important enough for Dallas to call a timeout, something that they saw on the sideline. And we will take a break and return to Ford Field in just a moment.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Ford. Only Ford gives you EcoBoost fuel economy and a whole lot more. By the Galaxy Note 10.1, the next big thing is here. And by Bank of America.
Cowboys called the timeout, and there is Theo Riddick inactive in the last 2 games. And Jim Schwartz telling us that he's going to go in not to give someone a breather, but they have plays for this back.
Yeah, and primarily they like him as a receiver out of the backfield. So let's watch his impact on the game. As you said, he just doesn't roll through to give Reggie Bush or Joyce Bell a blow. He's in there for a specific reason.
And Reggie Bush also in there. 3 receivers lined up to the right, and Bush is in the slot to the right. So here is 3rd and 9, and the pass is to Riddick. And Riddick is stopped short of the first down as he's tackled at the 40. Good play by Nick Hayden, who has been bothered by a sore back, and it's 4th down, and the Lions will have to kick.
And you can see the mentality. Go ahead and put Calvin Johnson and Reggie Bush and Brandon Pettigrew and all the other big receivers to one side and see what kind of matchup I get with Theo Riddick, someone they think matches up very well down the field.
So Dwayne Harris, all right, after having the wind knocked out of him on the first punt return. Sam Martin, who kicked over 60 yards on his first punt, and this one is another beauty, and it's going to go out of bounds. So Sam Martin, the rookie from Appalachian State, with a terrific punt. Well, we've been talking about Calvin Johnson and Dez Bryant. They haven't figured yet, but this is what they've done after their first 50 career starts.
And you look at that and say, well, Dez Bryant, obviously the better receiver right now, but you got to understand, they throw a lot of underneath passes and one-step passes to Dez Bryant. His numbers, he's going to have more receptions, but clearly Calvin Johnson's proven over this year and a lot of years he is a big play receiver down the field. That's where stats could be overrated in the NFL when you look at those. Not to take anything away from Dez, but Calvin Johnson's terrific as Joseph Randle, with his best carry of the day, brings it out to the 29. Glover Quinn, the strong safety, making the tackle on Randle. And like we said, the impact of Reggie Bush on the offense of the Detroit Lions. Likewise, the running game. It doesn't matter whether it comes from Randle or when they can occasionally, obviously, get DeMarco Murray back. What a huge difference that makes for Tony Romo then to throw the ball down the field if they can get the running game cranked up. Randle had 65 yards against the Eagles last week. 2nd down and 3. And again, they go to Randle. And not much there, and Louis Delmas coming up from his secondary position and a loss of 1. Well, we said it earlier, when you start to see Louis Delmas into the interior of the front 7, we saw Bill Bentley make a tackle behind the line of scrimmage, a DB. You can see the commitment by Gunther Cunningham, the defensive coordinator for the Lions, recognizing just what we said. I don't want the Cowboys to get their running game cranked up. Well, Randle is out, and Philip Tanner, who had a touchdown against the Eagles, is in. He's a receiver out of the backfield. 3rd down and 3 for Dallas. And Romo swings it out to Tanner, and Tanner will have the first down and get knocked out of bounds at the 45 by Ziggy Ansah. So 17 yards to Tanner and a first down. I want you what happens with Tanner here. He gets picked off, or I should say the defense gets picked off right there. They can't get to the outside. This is as simple a throw as can be made. It's like an extended handoff for Tony Romo. Quarterbacks love this. I can basically hand off a wide handoff, get a first down and a completion. Randle is back in, and here's the pass out to the outside to James Hanna, a tight end, and Hanna gets into Lions territory and picks up 11 yards, and it's another Cowboy first down. It's interesting, we talk about the big play receivers in this offense. We saw Detroit throw the ball out to Theo Riddick, someone who hasn't played a lot because of all the attention brought to the other guys. And here at James Hanna, primarily a blocker, he gets a pass because everybody's so focused on Dez Bryant. So the understudy's playing a role early on in this game. First down. And here's Randle going up the middle, and Randle picking up 4 yards on first down. Cowboys are down to the 40-yard line. Dick, first down run efficiency has always been so important to offenses. It keeps you on schedule. You hear that term all the time. Convertible 2nd and 3rd downs. That's what the Cowboys are doing real well on first downhill. Here, handing the ball off and getting themselves into real manageable second and third downs.
Now they have Lance Dunbar, who was inactive against the Eagles. Second down and 6. And the handoff is to Dunbar, who's stopped for a loss. It'll be third down and 9 coming up, and Ashley Palmer, the outside backer, they lose 3.
Again, you're going to see a DB, Bill Bentley, coming off the edge. I don't know, I've seen a game where so many DBs make plays in the running game behind the line of scrimmage. At some point, with all these DBs on the line of scrimmage, Tony Romo's going to say, "Phooey, I'm going to throw the ball downfield one-on-one to my good receivers."
Looks like both teams want to use everyone on their roster here in the first quarter. Third down and 9. From the 43, Romo getting time, and the pass is caught by Hanna, but he's tackled quickly, and a good defensive play by Rashean Mathis. And fourth down coming up, and Chris Jones will come in to kick it away for the Cowboys, who got into Lion territory.
And Dick, you can throw the ball and hand the ball off to all you want to these second-level guys. A defensive coordinator is going, "That's fine with me. I'm still going to take care of Calvin Johnson, Dez Bryant, Reggie Bush. I'm not going to let those guys get cranked up."
Ryan Broyles back deep as Jones with good hang time on the high kick. Fair catch by Broyles on the 10. Well, you were just talking about the leading men in this game. We're going to see them come on for the Lions, led by Matthew Stafford, when we return. Ziggy Ansah, the rookie defensive end, being worked on by one of the great trainers in the NFL, Dean Kleinschmidt. Meanwhile, the Lions starting from the 10. 3:21 to go in the first quarter. No score. Reggie Bush. And smothered right there for no gain. First 2 possessions for the Lions. They had a penalty, false start on both of their first 2 possessions.
Yeah, and what I'm not seeing just yet are those shots down the field. That's what both these teams needs to kind of shake it open, because right now, no one's showing the ability to go that 10, 12 play drive to get in scoring position.
Second down and 10. On the slant, here is Calvin Johnson. He's going. Calvin Johnson being chased by 4 Cowboys. Inside the 10 and knocked out of bounds at about the 2 or 3. It was Jeff Heath who did it. 87 yards for Calvin Johnson and breezed by the Dallas defense.
Well, a quick play fake to Reggie Bush opened up the underneath coverage. It took away the straight shot to Calvin Johnson. Right now, Brandon Carr thought he had help inside. It all disappeared because of the play fake, and it's amazing that a guy this fast, or I should say this big, with these great hands and this kind of leaping ability, also has this kind of speed.
That is the longest play from scrimmage for the Lions this year, and a first and goal at the 3. And here's Reggie Bush, and Bush hit immediately by Sean Lee, the middle linebacker, and picks up 1. So it'll be second and goal.
What did I say? We were missing the big play. I think this constitutes as a big play. A quick slant to a receiver. They love it because it allows them to catch the ball on the run. Quarterbacks usually hate this throw because they don't know where the underneath coverage is. But with a little play fake, particularly out of the gun to Reggie Bush, Matthew Stafford was very comfortable with throwing the ball into Calvin Johnson.
Numbers last week against the Bengals. Jeremy Ross in motion, and once again the Cowboys come on strong against Reggie Bush, and that will present a third down and goal. It's either no gain or maybe a slight loss, but third and goal coming up with a minute and a half remaining in the first.
This is a pivotal call for Detroit. To have the big play and have to settle for 3 emotionally is gut-wrenching. What you need to watch for, this is a huge, and I mean huge, receiving core for Detroit. Calvin Johnson's every bit of 6'5". Joseph Fourier, who they like down in this area as well. He's every bit of 6'6", 6'7". Brandon Pettigrew, he's 6'6". This is a huge receiving corps. Chris Durham, the other receiver opposite of Calvin Johnson.
Here they go. 3rd and goal from the 2. Stafford escapes trouble, but can he get into the end zone and throws it out of the end zone? And the Cowboys do a brilliant job defensively, faced with 1st and goal at the 3, and the pressure put on by Kyle Wilber, starting for DeMarcus Ware.
And this is a brilliant job by the secondary of the Dallas Cowboys. They're shutting everybody off. They've got them covered up from top to bottom. Here on the other side, Calvin Johnson in the slot. They're doubled up there. They're going to put 2 people on 1.
And they're going to go for it here. 4th and goal. What does Scott Linehan have up his sleeve?
Calvin Johnson's at the bottom of the screen.
And here is Stafford's pass to Johnson. Touchdown!
Again, just this little slant on the right, Calvin Johnson. They swab out the inside coverage with Jeremy Ross just kind of cleaning it off, opening the inside window for Calvin Johnson. Huge play on a 4th down. This is one of those times where Jim Schwartz goes over to Scott Linehan and says, look, here are your options. You can go to Calvin Johnson, you can go to Calvin Johnson, or you can go to Calvin Johnson.
And then we'll send in David Akers. So Calvin Johnson, when it looked like the Cowboys had stopped the Lions on 4th down, gets the touchdown, his 7th of the year, and the Lions take a 7-0 lead. 90 yards on 6 plays. They did it in under 2.5 minutes, and the Lions take a 7-0 lead as Matthew Stafford hitting Calvin Johnson on a 2-yard play, and for Stafford, his 16th touchdown of the year, has thrown only 4 picks. And now Dwayne Harris going back. And Sam Martin kicking off for the Lions with under a minute remaining here in the 1st quarter. And the Cowboys will settle to take it out at the 20-yard line. So the Lions take the lead. It was Johnson and Johnson. Same guy. 7-0 Detroit. Lions lead 7-0. And before that big play, Coach, I was going to ask you what happened to all the shootout stories we're going to have.
Well, that's why we shoot 2 versions of the open, so we sound right either way. We're about to say, oh, we told you it was going to be a defensive slugfest. But this is how it's likely to go. Good defensive series, don't allow big plays, and the one time you come out of that zone coverage, the one time you come up and try to be in man coverage, the big play receiver is going to have an impact. Now it's up to Dallas and Dez Bryant and those guys to counter.
Well, this week, Dez Bryant earlier in the week said, I can do anything that Calvin Johnson could do. Later recanted that. Well, he's got a bar to handle here. Let's see, the standard has been set by number 81. Let's see how the Cowboys respond from the 20. Play action on 1st down. And Romo going deep. And a flag will go down as Terrence Williams and Chris Houston engage downfield. And a flag is thrown.
Boy, it looks like their feet, if we can come back and look, looks like their feet just got tangled up with one another. And I don't know that, typically that doesn't get called unless you get a little shove from behind. Either way, Jason Garrett's glad to get it.
No foul for defensive pass interference. Both players are playing the ball, and the feet were tangled. 2nd down.
And that's exactly what we're talking about here. It looked to me as though they just kind of got tied up with one another as Chris Houston turns to run. Really didn't get a push. He just kind of stumbles up. Normally when you get those legs, I used to tell our DBs, hey, just trip the guy. Just don't be obvious, and they'll never call it. And I kind of like the fact that they picked up the flag, because that was kind of a no harm, no foul.
And the key is to be looking for the ball, I think.
Yeah, Jason Garrett's not buying what I just said.
No. But someday when he gets up here, he'll say the same thing.
Oh, that'll be a long time from now. He's too good a coach.
Yeah, 2nd down and 10. He wants what you have. And the crowd is a factor here. There's no question about it. Romo incomplete, trying to go to Williams. And time for a game break. Let's check in with Kurt Menefee.
Well, Saints receiver Lance Moore missed 4 games with a bad hand. I think those hands were okay. Nice catch there from Drew Brees. 15-yard score, and it puts the Saints up early in the first quarter against Buffalo. Dick and Brian.
You know, we're going to have a player who can dance just like that guy can.
Oh, I hope we get Joseph Fourier in the end zone. That's pretty good. Saints are that sneaky team. You just kind of forget about them, don't you? And all of a sudden they keep sneaking up the charts.
3rd down and 10. Romo on the out. And again going to Williams, and Houston covering on the play that time. And it is 4th down, so the Cowboys go 3 and out. After
Well, you're going to see a shot here on Tony Romo. We opened up by saying you got to watch out for that inside rush. That's twice Nick Fairley has gotten home to give nice legal shots on Tony Romo, that interior offensive line of the Cowboys having their hands full with Nick Fairley and Ndamukong Suh.
Romo is going to need time to get it to his outside people as Chris Jones kicks, and Ryan Broyles calling for the fair catch at the 39, and that gives the Lions good field position with less than a half a minute remaining in the first quarter. Well, Calvin Johnson already has made his presence felt big time.
Well, against Brandon Carr here, he just gets that deep inside. They can't get the ball down to him deep. You can see he's smothered with help over the top. And the minute you don't provide that underneath or over the top help, Calvin Johnson's going to hurt you. This is one of the great non-diva receivers in the league. I love this guy. He catches a touchdown, turns around, hands it to the official. A lot of young people need to take note of that.
Joint Bell with a good run for the Lions, and just about gets to midfield, and Jeff Heath making the play, and making his first NFL start is Jeff Heath, making a homecoming. Went to high school in Lake Orion here in Michigan. 40 minutes from Ford Field, and played his college ball at Saginaw Valley State in the uniform of the Cowboys. What a thrill. And there are his fans and family. I don't think there are any cheap seats, but they're way back there. That's the end of the first quarter. 7-0 Lions. Start of the second quarter. Dick Stockton along with Brian Billick and Laura Oakman. First down at the 49, and here's Reggie Bush on the screen. And Reggie Bush within 3 yards of the first down. Sean Lee defending, and Bush was open on the swing pass to him. Gets 7.
Rod Marinelli, the job he's done with the defensive line, I tell you what, you look at these guys, and obviously other than with Jason Hatcher inside, these guys, Nick Hayden, George Silva, Caesar Rayford, stop me when you recognize one of these guys did.
Oh.
Drake Nevis, Jarius Wynn, Jason Vega. It's a no man's defense or a no-name defense. He's done an incredible job with it.
Second down and 3. They fake and end around, and Stafford gets hit from behind, and the ball is picked off, and Sean Lee coming back. Sean Lee always around the ball, and intercepts for the Cowboys. Picked one off last week against the Eagles, was the NFC Defensive Player of the Week, and here's why.
This is just a deep end by Calvin Johnson. Again, a play fake to open up the underneath coverage, but obviously it wasn't good enough. There's Sean Lee. Now, obviously, it bounced off Calvin Johnson's hands, something you don't see very often. But that's the thing you hear about Sean Lee. When you watch him play or you visit with Monty Kiffin, the defensive coordinator, you try to say, what makes this guy so great? And it's just this. He always seems to be around the play, whether it's to make a tackle, get an interception, jump on a fumble. One of the more intelligent players, Monty Kiffin told us, he's ever been around.
So now Tony Romo back on center stage. First down. And Romo's pass. And it's a catch by Terrence Williams.
Lee was a second-round draft choice out of Penn State. Of course, linebacker U. And obviously good, tough kid. But again, every coach you talk with, he quickly, even as a rookie, became apparent that this guy has a knack for the game. It's the ability to look at film and then in a game environment to transition from recognition to action as quickly as he does. Not that he's not a great athlete, but it supersedes the fact that he's a good, solid athlete that reacts very, very quickly and anticipates.
Only the 5th interception thrown by Stafford. Carr was right around Calvin Johnson, and Lee just took it away. 2nd down and 6 for Dallas. And this pass is ruled a catch at the 48 by Williams. A heavy dose of Terrence Williams here in the first half as he gets about 6 yards.
And Dallas is trying to get a quick playoff to prevent a challenge or a review. And that's exactly what's going to happen. Did he have control? Look at the thing bobbled right there. Does he have control quick enough? Both feet are in, but right there he loses control of it, that little bit of movement, and both feet aren't in at that point. I'm not sure this doesn't come back if indeed we get a challenge. And right now Jim Schwartz is thinking about it.
And he's going to pick up that flag.
Detroit is challenging the ruling on the field of a completed pass. Timeout.
So the ruling on the field that it is a completed pass. So the Lions with the challenge, and we'll be back.
Base Game on Fox is sponsored by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you gotta get DirecTV. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Surface, the one device for everything in your life.
The Lions have challenged an official's ruling that this was a catch by Terrence Williams. And Mike Pereira. Mike, is this as obvious a no catch as it seems or not?
Well, I don't think it's quite that obvious because he does re-control the ball after the bobble. But then you look to see where was the knee when he first, got control of the ball. And that's going to be what they're looking at. And remember, you'll go under the hood saying, all right, they called it a catch. But I think, and that's your bias that you want to look at, but I think when you look at it, really the total control looks to me like, and I think Coach was on it right away, looks to me like it's not really possessed until he gets out of bounds. Watch the knee. That's what they'll focus on after the control. But I think throughout the whole process, that has to be incomplete.
I love it when you agree with me, Mike. If you'd agreed with me this much when I was coaching, I'd still be coaching.
Yeah, and I'd still be living in an outhouse with all that money I got from you, but that's all right.
Yeah, and here's the key. He has control right there, but he loses it. And right now you can see the knee is down, but the ball starts to bobble. And it's the dreaded process word that I think that's going to catch him.
Here's Bill Vinovich.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field is reversed. By the time the receiver had possession, the left knee was out of bounds. Detroit did not charge a timeout. It'll be 3rd and 6 at the 42-yard line. Dallas has.
So they reverse it. Coach Billick, he must have been undefeated in challenges, yes?
Yeah, how far from it. And I love it now. I never liked the challenge system because it just gives everybody one more reason to second guess. Yeah, you won a lot of games, but you were 6 of 20 on challenges.
So it'll now be 3rd down and 6. An incomplete pass. Ball on the 42 of the Cowboys. The Lions leading 7-0 early in the second. And there you see 3rd down conversions early on. By the way, Tony Romo's last 5 passes have been targeted for Terrence Williams.
That's because the Detroit Lions also know he wants to go to Des White, Jason Witten. Jason Witten's usually the guy that you want to watch on 3rd down. If there's a crunch time, an important 3rd down, I don't know when there's an unimportant 3rd down. Don't quite know what they're talking about here, other than if they're talking about the spot, possibly the clock.
Could be well, they say the spot of the ball, but the pass was incomplete. And now we're ready to go.
But as I was saying, Jason Witten on 3rd down, you always want to know where Jason Witten is on 3rd down. Because right here, he's on the right side. Typically on a critical 3rd down, he's Tony Romo's security blanket.
3rd and 6, pressure on Romo as he throws it away. And he was going for Cole Beasley. And once again, the Lions doing a good job up front against that offensive front of the Cowboys. 4th down.
Great job. I want you to watch Witten. He's double covered with both the linebacker and Glover Quinn. They also know that Jason Witten is where Tony Romo wants to go. I'd be very surprised to ever see him with just one-on-one coverage.
They haven't tried to throw to Des Bryant yet, as Chris Jones kicking to Ryan Broyles. And Broyles feels it on the 11. And down he goes at the 15. 47-yard punt. And the Lions come back on offense with Matthew Stafford, who has a touchdown pass to Calvin Johnson and has thrown an interception.
Well, as we said earlier, Matthew Stafford, there's a confidence in this young man, and it should be. We forget how young he is. He's only 24 years old. And the fact that he's played as much football as he has, even though he's very, very young, he just grows in his confidence. And as they give him weapons like Reggie Bush and some of the others they're adding to the equation, that confidence just grows and grows.
From the 15, pass is complete for an 8-yard gain to Calvin Johnson. And game break time. Let's check in again with Kurt Menefee.
Well, the Patriots' struggles continuing. Dolphins at New England up 14-0 in the second quarter after that Daniel Thomas 5-yard reception from Ryan Tannehill. Dick and Brian.
You know, a lot of people thought that might happen today, Coach.
Well, don't count out Tom Brady just yet. Just yet.
2nd down and 2 from the 23. And here's Reggie Bush. Reggie Bush with a stiff arm and goes out of bounds at the 40 and picking up 17 yards.
I want you to watch the eyes of Reggie Bush. What did I tell you? They run a very simple run scheme there. He's already sizing up. Where do I think this hole's going to be? And obviously that little jump to the outside, and then he has the strength and the speed to open up a big explosive, little jump cut, and then boom, watch the transition to the speed, and then a little bit of power with the right arm. He's got it all.
And a first down at the Lion 40. And here's Reggie Bush. And Reggie Bush is tackled finally by the first guy who had a hand on him, Jarius Wynn, who was released by the Chargers. He's one of those unheralded guys on the defensive line. Loss of 6 this time.
Well, Jarius Wynn's coming in from the inside in here, and on the outside, he gets a tackle there. I don't know if he gets credit for that one, but then he comes back. Maybe he gets a 1.5 tackles for that. Missed the first one. I'll give him 1.5. I'm not going to give him 2, but I'll give him 1.5.
Like a sack, 1.5 sacks.
Exactly right.
2nd down, 16. And the handoff is to Theo Riddick. And Riddick brings it out to the 41. So we have seen Riddick as running back, and Reggie Bush, busy man, has touched the ball on 10 of the 21 plays the Lions have run offensively.
Well, and he's on pace for better than 200 carries and 53 receptions. In a perfect world, I think, for Reggie Bush, you'd like a few more receptions, a few fewer runs, but you'll take him any way you can get him.
Calvin Johnson split to the bottom of your picture, covered by Brandon Carr. Third and 9. Snapper going for Calvin Johnson, and the pass is overthrown. Carr doing a good job downfield. Carr, the native of Flint, Michigan, and from Grand Valley State. And that will bring up 4th down, and the Lions will kick.
Brandon Carr did an excellent job of that, of rerouting Calvin Johnson. And we've already seen it where Matthew Stafford, anytime Dallas wants to come up and challenge that box, show pressure, bring it up to stop the run, he's going to find that one-on-one typically to Calvin Johnson. Puts a lot on the plate of Brandon Carr. Did a nice job on that one.
Good punt by Martin, and it bounces on the 2 and goes into the end zone. By the way, earlier we said that Jeff Heath, well, he's from Lake Orion, Michigan. Let's get that right. But a hometown guy coming home.
Well, DeMarcus Ware, if I can't play, I'll do a little coaching, helping up backup lineman Jeremy Parnell, trying to tell him this is what they're going to try to do. They're going to try to grab you and hold you because that's what we dirty defensive linemen do. Can't play? Coach.
Oh, never heard that.
Can't do either. Get into a booth.
Dropping it is Joseph Randall. And first 4 possession for the Cowboys, and they had to punt it away. They crossed midfield only once today and only got it to the Lion 42, so they have been outgained by a huge margin in every area, Coach.
Yeah, and the Detroit Lions are committing a lot of resources to trying to stuff the Cowboys on first and second down. That limits their choices on third down.
Showing blitz, and here they come. And the pass caught this time by Randall, and Randall is off and finally tackled, but not before. The Cowboys have a first down, a 13-yard gain, and Stephen Tulloch, the middle linebacker, made the tackle.
Well, part of the reason the Lions have been so effective, you can see here, the DBs, Louis Delmas and Bentley coming in, making tackles behind the line of scrimmage by committing secondary people into stopping the run. Well, how do you counter that? You throw a screen and get outside all that trash.
Averaging less than 2.5 yards per rush on the Cowboys. First down. Pulling it down after the screen pass attempt and connecting this time to the tight end Jason Witten, and there is old reliable, and Witten moves the chains. It'll be another first down for the Cowboys, picking up 14.
Well, the defensive coaches for Detroit told us that you're going to find Jason Witten right here, and Tony Romo, whether he was the primary or not, when Tony Romo gets flushed out of the pocket like he does there, 9 times out of 10, he's going to find Jason Witten.
11-year veteran with a 14-yard catch, and now a first down at the 46. And the handoff to Lance Dunbar. And Dunbar crosses midfield into Lion territory, getting 5. And coming off the field is Nick Fairley. And a big injury here for the Lions defensive front, which has done so well so far.
He's already had 2 hits on Tony Romo, and we talked about the mismatch of Nick Fairley and Ndamukong Suh on the interior of the offensive line for the Dallas Cowboys, and in particular rookie center Travis Frederick.
Dunbar stays in the game, 2nd and 5. And the flip to Dunbar, and Dunbar will get the first down, and a good block there by Tyron Smith, the left tackle, and a pickup of 6 and another Dallas first down.
This is a game of action and reaction. We talked about the Detroit Lions committing secondary people to stop the run. But what do? You get outside of all that. We've seen a screen. We've seen that quick pitch that obviously offensive coordinator Bill Callahan for the Dallas Cowboys knows he's got to address this. He's got to do something to keep the Detroit Lions secondary out of his backfield.
The rushing story, first down on the 43 of Detroit, and here is the end around by Dez Bryant, the first time he's touched the ball in this game, and Dez Bryant picks up a couple, that's all, if that much, on the end around.
Well, if you can't get the ball thrown into Dez Bryant, how about we give him an end around? You know, you always got to find creative ways. There's always that part on your game plan where you have your star player and there's a list of a handful of plays that if all of a sudden you look up, you get to the middle of the second quarter and he hasn't touched it, you better go to one of those plays. Obviously for the Dallas Cowboys, the end around was it.
Lining up to the right. A couple of backup defensive linemen in for the Lions on 2nd down and 9. Romo looking somewhere and finally completes it to Witten, who's stopped in his tracks by Darius Slay after a gain of 3. And an injured Cowboy. And we'll take a break.
This game is sponsored by the new 2014 Jeep Grand Cherokee.
Well, you hope Brian Waters can come back into the game. Kind of hard to see. He seems to be walking off okay. This would be a huge loss for them if he can't come back in. We talked about the mismatch inside. He's over here at the right guard. And he just gets locked up one-on-one with Ndamukong Suh. Nothing really there. And his leg must just, that left leg just buckles on him a little bit. We already talked about the mismatch on the inside with rookie Travis Frederick, and you can see it right here. Hopefully it's nothing serious. You take Brian Waters, and they talked him out of retirement to come back. You weaken the interior of that line again. This could be problematic for Dallas against Suh and Fairley.
And Mackenzie Bernardo, number 73, replaces him. And Dunbar, the running back, is split wide right on 3rd and 7. Penalty marker.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense number 90. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Suh called for the neutral zone of infraction here.
Just here at the bottom of the screen, something gets him to jump, and we talked earlier about taking a 3rd and 2 to a 3rd and 7 and how that decreases the odds. Well, they just took a 3rd and long for Dallas that is usually at about 20 or 30% and moved it into a 3rd and 2, which is normally about 70% conversion rate.
Boy, that's such a huge difference there. Philip Tanner, the receiver out of the backfield, is in there now. 3rd and 2 for Dallas on the 35.
That'd be a good draw or track down right here.
Romo flush from the pocket, in trouble, off balance throw, and incomplete. Terrence Williams was defended by Chris Houston, but the Lions front getting him out of the pocket, and an off balance toss didn't have much on it.
Like I said, a draw trap looked pretty good right there. It's always easy to be right after the fact, isn't it? But anytime you get flushed on a 3rd and 2 to 3, you know, there's that constant second guessing you do as a coach. Why didn't we take more of a direct approach? But you got a new guard in there,
right.
Pretty good pass rush, flushed Romo out of the pocket. It's all he really had left was to take that shot.
Makes sense to me. Well, here's Dan Bailey with a 53-yard attempt. Matching his longest field goal of the year. He matches it. Bailey with a 53-yard field goal, and Jason Garrett's Cowboys get on the scoreboard with 5:39 to go in the half. It's 7-3 the Lions. Nick Raiola and Calvin Johnson getting set to go back to work as the Cowboys get a field goal after all of that. They've got a couple of first downs, but their offense has really yet to click the way they're known so far.
Yeah, and part of it has to do with the aggressive nature of the Detroit defense, and I don't know that Tony Romo's not going to have to keep more of an eye on the outside receivers for the one-on-one matchups that are being presented because they haven't been able to take advantage of it yet.
Well, Dan Bailey with the 53-yarder is now 3 of 4 from 50 or beyond, and you want to talk about Matthew Stafford looking up with some of the greats and near greats of the fewest games to 15,000 passing yards.
Yeah, this guy has been impressive all but in a short career. Again, as I say, you forget just how young he is. But a lot of it also is because he's thrown a lot of balls. They've had no running game, set a record of throws last year with 712. They don't want to do that again this year.
This is a pass-first offense. Make no mistake about that. First from the 20, and the handoff to Bush. And Bush gets a couple of yards. So the Detroit Lions, and no surprise with some of the names you'll see in their offensive leaders thus far. And Matthew Stafford, those are his numbers.
A bunch of that coming on the slant throw to Calvin Johnson.
They still have outrushed the Cowboys, and Calvin Johnson with the 87-yard spectacular catch, setting up his touchdown from 2 yards out. So it's 2nd down and 8 at the 22. Stafford, and unable to hold on to it is Reggie Bush, and now it'll be 3rd and 8.
That was just a little quick in route by Reggie Bush, much like we see Dallas try to do with Des Bryant. Give him a chance to catch it and run. try to minimize the dreaded 3rd and long, which they find themselves in now. And you can see here, and this is something that surprised me a little bit, the drop passes of the Detroit Lions. You throw the ball as much as they do, you can't drop passes like that.
Well, 3rd down, and they bring out Bush, and Joyke Bell becomes the tailback. Into block for Stafford. And the pass caught, and a 1st down for Calvin Johnson. Carr was right there, but Calvin Johnson has a knack, doesn't he? Gets 9 for the 1st down.
Yeah, and these guys up in here, this isn't fair. Brandon Carr's going, wait a minute, I'm all over this guy. This is exactly what we said. At no point can you look at Calvin Johnson as a quarterback and say, no, he's not open. He is so strong, so powerful. The strength in your hands that it takes to pull that down and maintain control through the process is unbelievable.
His 4th 100-yard game of the season. And the quick to Durham. And his first catch of the year, and he's going to lose a yard thanks to Morris Claiborne. And time for a game break. Let's check in with Joel Klatt.
All right, thanks, Dick. And we go to New Orleans, where Drew Brees is going to find his rookie wide receiver from Oklahoma, Kenny Stills. 69-yard touchdown, and New Orleans takes the lead 14-10 at home. Back to you, Dick.
Pretty close, though, in New Orleans.
Yeah, probably a little closer than people thought, but again, got a long way to go.
2nd down and 10 from the 31. Stafford slings it to Calvin Johnson, and he is slowed up by Carr and gets into Cowboy territory at the 48-yard line.
This is classic stat. Watch this little sidearm fling, kind of Favre-esque. He knew he couldn't get it over the top. Calvin Johnson, nice little rolling deep in. Look at him sidearm this thing. Matthew Stafford loves to do that. Goes back to his days Highland Park in Texas, where you just fling it around. Whatever angle I got to get it out, I can.
That was a slider.
It was. Well, he was probably, I'll bet you he was a pretty good pitcher.
1st down. Reggie Bush breaks a couple of tackles, holds on to the ball, and it's a 1st down on Reggie Bush's best run of the day, 16 yards, and a 1st down to the 32.
Yeah, and you get Calvin Johnson down the field. Defensive coordinator says, well, I'm not going to let you do that again. Fine. You lighten the box, roll the coverage of Calvin Johnson. I'm going to turn Reggie Bush loose on a quick inside hitter. Turns into an equally big play.
And a timeout on the field. And players shaken up, and it's Jeff Heath from Lake Orion, Michigan, is shaken up.
This November, Dick, some cops are born, others are made. Get ready for the next evolution of cop drama. Don't miss the show critics are calling obsession worthy, and one of the best new series this fall, Almost Human. The 2-night series premiere starts Sunday, November 17th on Fox.
You've convinced me.
Yeah. We could actually do a series on Calvin Johnson and call it the same thing. Almost Human. This guy's unbelievable what he can do with the ball.
Heath is up.
This guy at the combine and in his workouts, this guy was 6'5", coming out of Georgia Tech. 42-inch vertical jump, okay? That's unbelievable for a man this size. And ran a 4.35 at his pro day. That combination, this guy just shot up the ranks. And, you know, everybody says, well, you know, let's go get us a Calvin Johnson. Whoa, there's not a lot of cats like that walking around. That's rare territory to be able to pull a guy like that.
And as you mentioned, a classy human being gives the ball to the official after a catch.
So non-diva. He's up there with Larry Johnson and some of the greats in terms of just having a pure class act, as great a receiver as he is.
Well, you saw Jeff Heath all right on the sidelines. 1st down now on the 32-yard line, and here's Reggie Bush trying to go outside. A little deep, a little juke, and a penalty flag is down. After a 4-yard gain. Looks like they're coming back.
Illegal formation. Offense. Tight end was covered. 5-yard penalty. Repeat 1st
Let's go
down.
down to Laura. Open
Dick, you guys keep talking about the class of Calvin Johnson. I just want to add something because I talked to Broncos wide receiver Demaryius Thomas about him. He's about as non-diva as you can get as well. And I said, did you ever go through a diva phase? He said, no, because I went to Georgia Tech. I got into that locker room. Calvin Johnson was there. When he is your star and he is anything but a diva, you certainly can't be. I told Calvin that. He smiled and said, that tells me I did something right. I haven't been late in 7 years in Detroit. I take that as seriously as I take being a wide receiver.
All right, Laura, thank you. He's done a lot of things right. Here's the screen to Reggie Bush. And Reggie Bush will not get away from Jarius Quinn and will lose 8 yards in the process. By the way, Jeff Heath is back in the lineup at strong safety for the Cowboys. And we're down to our 2-minute warning. So, good defensive play by Dallas. Where's the shootout? Well, not in this first half. It's only 7-3. Two-man wrecking crew of Calvin Johnson and Reggie Bush. The rest of the team, well, see who emerges there. 2-minute warning, 1:58 to go. It'll be second down and 22. Lions have all 3 of their timeouts remaining. Stafford, and holding on is Pettigrew, the tight end. And he has a first down to the 26, getting 17.
Again, that's one of those big receivers that Detroit has. Stafford pumps it, gives a little sidearm fling, and puts up a jump ball, letting Brandon Pettigrew, all 6'6" of them, take it off the rim.
And the Dallas Cowboys call their second timeout. 2 timeouts for Dallas. You know, I like the way in the beginning of the game we just knew that we were going to have a shootout, a high-scoring game.
No. I went aggressively down the middle of the road. I said we could have that, but I said it could be a defensive shootout. You're not buying that?
I'd like to see the tape.
Yeah, well, I burned that version of it. But what we're getting is good, solid defense on both sides of the ball, but with the occasional big play right now, Detroit's done a nice job inside of 2 minutes getting himself for position for another score.
Sure you were non-committal about the shootout?
I was fully committed to my non-being committal.
Third down and 5. Stafford intercepted by Sean Lee. And tackled inside the 5. His second interception of the game and his 11th. The most by any linebacker in the league in the last 3 years. A costly pick there by Stafford.
I told you 2 things. Sean Lee just shows up, and watch the inside defender on the slant. I told you that quarterbacks hate slant routes because they can't be for sure where the underneath coverage is, and clearly Matthew Stafford was not there, had no idea that Sean Lee buzzed out underneath that little inside route. Sean Lee all over this thing, I tell you what, and I guarantee you there was something by the down and distance or the situation, because Sean Lee ran to that spot like he knew it was going to be there.
74-yard return and the second multi-interception game of his career. And it'll be first and goal at the 4. Can you say Pro Bowl candidate? First and goal at the 4. Cowboys looking to take the lead, and here is the handoff to Joseph Randle, and Randle losing a yard, getting down to the 5.
And this is where the Detroit Lion defense, as you can see there, says we're not going to let you run this thing in, which means Tony Romo may have to find that one-on-one combination up to Dez Bryant. Again, down in here, he has the ability to go up for those jump balls, to work on an inside slant route. I don't know if they're going to be able to run it in from here.
Cowboys in the red zone, obviously first time. They haven't done much offensively until now. And let's see if they can score off of the interception, and Dez Bryant covered by Darius Slay. And it'll be third down and goal. So the interception and the 74-yard return by Sean Lee, trying to set up a Dallas touchdown to take the lead with under a minute to go in the half.
And if they get denied here, you got to give kudos to Kevin Ogletree, who ran down Sean Lee on that interception, never giving up. Okay, what's the difference? Why, you know, it's just a score. No, you stop and give your defense a chance. Two guys you want to watch here, obviously. Bryant and Witten.
Looking Bryant's way, and Bryant has it. Touchdown! Dez Bryant controlling the ball beautifully after the catch, and the Dallas Cowboys on Lee's interception, setting it up, have taken a 9-7 lead.
I talked about the strength of hands. You can see it right here of Calvin Johnson. I want you to watch the strength here. Slay is all over it, but not only was able to grab it and maintain it, he comes down kind of awkward. It's bobbling around. Get control of it before he gets out of bounds. As he goes down, that is one strong man.
And hey, coach, let me tell you, this could be one of the top 10 plays on Fox Sports 1 later on. That's a candidate.
It could be the one.
And Dan Bailey with the extra point. And the Cowboys lead 10-7. So Calvin Johnson and Dez Bryant each have caught touchdown passes in this game.
Dez Bryant at the bottom of the screen. This just flat fade route. It's as old as the game itself. Looking for the matchups. And again, Darius Slay had help over the top as well. And it doesn't make a difference. You got a great player like Dez Bryant. The two big players showing up, and the intelligence of Sean Lee being in the right place at the right time, doing the right thing.
74 yards, return, and his reaction, and the slap of the hands with Dez Bryant. So the interception paid off, and the Cowboys capitalize on Matthew Stafford's second interception of this first half. And it's 10-7 with 46 seconds remaining in the half. Jeremy Ross is back deep. So when Dez says I can do anything Calvin Johnson can do, well,
okay,
give him some kudos there anyway.
That's right. That's right. Now Detroit's got to be careful here. They've got 3 timeouts. Let's see what kind of return, if at all, they get. You'd like to pull back some emotion going in at half, but you've got to be careful you don't put yourself in a position to make another mistake. They've got plenty of time to try to get in field goal position with 3 timeouts left.
That was a 5-yard touchdown pass. And the Lions will take it out on the 20-yard line. So you want to see some of the great catches we've seen around the league. How about Antonio Brown of the Steelers, one-handed against the Bears, week 3. Patriots, Kenbrell Tompkins, that was a game winner against the Saints. Dez Bryant in week 3 against the Rams, and Calvin Johnson against the Bengals. No, that was week 1, and that was the touchdown by Dez Bryant. That was the Minnesota Vikings in week 1. And that's our nominee. Here's Calvin Johnson with a stiff arm on Brandon Carr, and all of a sudden the Lions get just shy of midfield with 38 seconds to go, and they'll call a timeout. It's their first. And right now, let's go to Kurt Menefee to see what's coming up on the Visa halftime report.
Coming up on the Visa halftime, a big battle in the AFC East featuring the Dolphins and the Patriots. Also, the Cleveland Browns visit the Kansas City Chiefs, and the Buffalo Bills go for a win in the Big Easy. It's all coming your way on the Visa halftime show.
Nice use of the timeout by the Detroit Lions. I see so often when coaches make a mistake after a big play, trying to conserve a timeout, to run down and either kill the clock or try to get a play run off. On a big play, that's a lot of time to get down there. You got 3 timeouts, use one, and now you've saved a lot of time. You got 2 timeouts left. Nice use of the timeout by Jim Schwartz.
38 seconds remaining in the half. Pressure, tip ball, and incomplete. Ball was tipped downfield, and it'll be 2nd down and 10.
Lions are a good 20 yards away from a makeable field goal, maybe 15 from one worth trying.
They've had some great field goal kickers for the Lions over the years. Second down and 10. Still 2 timeouts remaining for Detroit. And Stafford's pass, and it looked like it went through the hands of Ryan Broyles. So it's 3rd down and 10.
Yeah, that ball had some heat on it right here. Coming right over the top, and the receiver can't see the ball come out. It's just, you're coming out blind. That thing was high and hot. It looked like Broyles just wasn't quite ready for it. Probably couldn't track it early enough.
And that would have put them in field goal range right there. Now they have to get it downfield on 3rd down and 10. Timeout situation may be moved if they don't convert here. Stafford under deep pressure, throws it away. And trying to avoid pressure, and the Cowboys claiming he did not get out of the pocket and there should be intentional grounding.
Yeah, that's exactly it, and they're going to get it. No one in the air. He was just trying to get rid of it. All-out pressure by the Dallas Cowboys, looking for the quick throw. A little dicey call on 3rd and 10, but you're betting on the quick throw or to get home, and he had no one to complete it to. Of course, it's kind of no harm, no foul here. Even if it gets backed up, you're still going to have to punt it either way.
George Selby and Barry Church from the secondary in a loss of 14.
So it's no harm, no foul. Gutty called by Monty Kiffin. And that down and distance, 3rd and 10, bringing pressure.
Grounding. Offense number 9. Spot foul. Loss and down. 4th down. Dallas has declined the option to run 10 seconds.
See the pressure right in here, and they're bringing it all. They fall off. And right now, he's within the pocket. If you're outside the pocket, the ball has to clear the line of scrimmage. Inside the pocket, there's got to be a viable receiver, and there was not there.
So Sam Martin will kick, and Dwayne Harris is back. Cowboys still have 1 timeout remaining, and they were coming in and trying to block that one, and here's Harris on the return, and he slips and falls at the 31. Defense has kept the Cowboys in this first half.
Well, we said it was going to be an offensive explosion. We just didn't know it was going to come from the defenders, and it's so typical in the NFL. Turnovers, the #1 determinant for success in the game.
2 interceptions by Sean Lee. The big one was the 74-yard return a little while ago, which set up the 5-yard touchdown pass from Romo to Dez Bryant. So the Cowboys with the lead with 15 seconds remaining, and the Cowboys will just take a knee, run the clock out, and that will do it. Trying to win their 3rd in a row for the first time this year. Coming up, the Visa halftime report, and that's what we have lined up for you. And that is the end of the first half with the score. The Cowboys 10, the Lions 7. And Fox NFL Sunday will continue with the Visa halftime report after this. Follow your favorite team all season long. Go to iTunes.com/NFL.
Well, here's my adjustments for Dallas. Take advantage of the one-on-one matchups you have outside. Dallas is committing a lot of people to stop the run. For Detroit, keep the balance you got running. Go on running pass. And for both of them, there's going to be a lot of pressure, emotional pressure in the second half. Don't give into it.
You know, we've been joking about this shootout thing, but the question is, we know that we have 2 prolific offenses, 2 good quarterbacks, good wide receivers. How do we get a 10-7 game?
Well, the other guys get paid too. And by that I mean the defensive guys, the coaches. They're going to look and see, what do you do well? And what's the classic thing? Take away what you do well. And they're doing that for the most part. Minimize Calvin Johnson, minimize Dez Bryant. They've made big plays, but so far they haven't made a lot of them. They've got to keep that balance. And the secondary players, the understudies as you call them, they may have to show up big time in order to get the win.
One thing you never know, they have to play the game, and you can say, well, I know this is going to be a game with a lot of scoring, and maybe we still will have that, but it's 10-7 right now as we get set for the second half. The Cowboys will get the ball first. They won the toss and then deferred, so Sam Martin starts it off, and Dwayne Harris will watch this, and the Cowboys will start from the 20 as we send it down to Laura.
Dick, I saw Brian's question, and I said to Jason Garrett, a lot of people are surprised this isn't an offensive shootout. Are you one of those people? He said, not at all, not with these two great defenses, which leads to offensively, we've got to give Tony more time. We've got to block better up front. He hasn't had time to go through his progressions. That has to change. We've got to convert some third downs. Defensively, he said, just keep doing what we're doing, and Adam Sean Lee is a damn fine football player. As for Jim Schwartz, we're moving the ball. He said we want to keep doing that, just not turn it over. They might be shorthanded defensively. Ziggy Ansah, Bill Bentley, both questionable right now.
All right, Laura, the Cowboys with 29 yards rushing, 66 passing, and they're leading in the game. And the swing pass to Joseph Randle on first down. Gain of 1, and good news for Dallas. And that is Brian Waters, who is out with a hyperextended knee. The 13-year veteran who they had to talk out of retirement is back in there. And there is a focus on the halftime numbers, which heavily favor the Lions. Scoreboard favors Dallas.
Well, to build on what Laura got from Jason Garrett, having Brian Waters back is going to be a big part of shoring up that protection right down the middle of this defense of the Detroit Lions to give Tony Romo more time to throw.
Second down and 9. Romo has time to throw, and the time to catch is Des Bryant, only his second catch of the game. The first one was a 5-yarder for a touchdown and a gain of 17.
Yeah, and you got to watch up here, Des Bryant, that deep in route that he and Calvin Johnson both like. Kind of surprised Des Bryant because, boy, that ball was on him quick. Good, strong hands pulling it down.
Last week, the Cowboys had a season's high 12 penalties against the Eagles. They have yet to commit a penalty in this one. From the 38. First down for Romo, who's 10 of 19. Completed pass to Randle up to the 41. And a gain of 3 yards. Let's compare the two giant wide receivers.
Well, and you can see the difference in terms of the impact. Now, again, we saw the earlier graphic that said Des Bryant usually catches more balls. Here, Calvin Johnson targeted 10 times. Obviously, the big play, a big part of the 156 yards that Calvin Johnson has. They haven't been able to get Des Bryant rolling yet.
By the way, though, on 156, the most ever by Calvin Johnson in a first half. Second and 6. Romo going up top to Des Bryant, and covering him downfield was Rasheem Mathis. So 3rd and 6 upcoming.
Jim Schwartz says he likes his secondary. Obviously, as I told you earlier, they think the safeties, Louis Delmas and Glover Quinn, are the keys. He's got a really young DB in Darius Slay, their second-round draft choice. And he's got a mature Rasheem Mathis. He says Darius Slay's going to be very good. He's just really young. And we love Rasheem Mathis. He's just really old at 33. That is old for a DB.
Slay came in for Chris Houston last week when Houston struggled and was benched for part of it. So now 3rd and 6.
Cowboys are 2 for 7 on 3rd down.
Romo gets good protection. And the pass is incomplete to Williams. Looked like Williams had a chance to make that catch. Chris Houston was depending on the play. And that will bring up 4th down, and the Cowboys will kick.
Well, again, that was just the deep end. We just saw Des Bryant catch, and Williams. Nice coverage by Chris Houston, trailing that deep end. Obviously, Dallas seeing something in the middle of the field they're trying to take advantage of. Good coverage by Detroit Lions and Chris Houston.
Ryan Broyles is back, and Chris Jones will kick. Very high, and the fair catch, and the Cowboys trying to keep it in play, cannot do it. Dunbar, and the flag is down. Back at the Dallas 40.
Holding. Offense number 91. 10-yard penalty. Dallas keeps the ball. First down. Timeout.
So it's a long snapper, Laduzar. And there's the touchdown by Calvin Johnson. Des Bryant caught one too. Those have been the touchdown.
This game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. And by Chevrolet. Find new roads.
Lions have it 1st and 10 on the 30-yard line. Ryan Broyles was shaken up, and they're working on him there. Michael Spurlock, who has been the kick returner for the Lions, inactive today. And on 1st down, here's Reggie Bush juking his way to a good gain. That's a nice run. 7 yards. Last 4 times the Lions have had the ball.
Well, here's the problem, obviously, and it's the only reason Dallas is in the game, quite frankly, the interception by Sean Lee. Both these teams, again, whether it's punts or turnovers, really haven't been able to generate much consistency other than the occasional big play.
Well, Matt Stafford had only 4 interceptions in the first 7 games, but 2 by Sean Lee in the first half today. On 2nd and 3, Stafford pumped once, and this one is caught. And a good catch by Durham. And Durham with the 8-yard gain. Time for the game break. Here's Joel Klatt.
All right, thanks, Dick. Quick turn of events in New England. Brady threw a touchdown pass, ensuing drive. Tannehill fumbled, and Brandon Bolden, a couple of plays later, scores, and New England has tied the game at 17. Back to Detroit. And Dick.
You were right. It was too early.
You are so lucky. You are so lucky.
Nobody knows why. Anyway,
Tom Brady's coming back.
1st down, and Reggie Bush picks up some good yards. I'll tell you, the Lions are running hard today. They don't have an incredible amount of rushing yards, but they've made the most of their chances.
And they've stayed committed to it. I made one of my points coming back at the half is to keep that balance that they have so far. And that's so key for an offensive coordinator. Even though you're not getting the big yardage and you may not run it 30 or 40 times on the game, you try hard, and Scott Linehan's doing just that, trying to keep that balance, because it leads to the big plays, the big play action fakes and throws down the field.
2nd down and 6. Stafford, and the Lions get into Cowboy territory. The pass is complete to Jeremy Ross. And another 1st down. So Stafford 14 for 24, 200 yards in this game.
They're in that territory where you kind of like to take a shot down the field as you approach the opponent's 40. You're looking for that big shot. I want you to watch these 2 tight ends, Pettigrew, and they put in Joe Fourier, the big 6'8" wide receiver. They may be trying to manufacture something here or run the ball.
They run it to Bush. And Bush cuts outside, loses the ball, and the Cowboys have recovered the fumble. Dallas gets it back after a brilliant change of direction by Reggie Bush. He coughs it up, and the Cowboys get it back. That is the 3rd turnover committed by the Lions, and the fumble recovery by Justin Durant, a former Lion of all people.
All right, classic fundamentals. You can see Reggie Bush. He's got the ball secured in the right hand. He's going to the outside. Switch it over. Great job by Jeff Heath. You've got to secure the ball. He had it out way too much. What a great play by Reggie Bush. But when you transfer it over, he's doing the right thing. Put it on the outside arm away from the defender, but you got to secure it.
From the 32, Dunbar in and running back. And off the right tackle. DeAndre Levy making the tackle after a 5-yard gain on 1st down. So Jeff Heath, who once kicked a game-winning field goal in this very stadium in the state semifinals for Lake Orion, Michigan. Coming back here to force a fumble and giving the Cowboys the ball. They now have a 2nd down and 5 on the 37. Here is Randall. Randall, we're in a couple. Will be short of the 1st down by 2.5 yards with 3rd down coming up.
Again, Detroit keeps committing their secondary into stopping the run. Nice job there. Here's a 3rd and 2 yards. Again, Cowboys are 2 of 8 on 3rd down. They've yet to run the ball in this down and distance. In terms of this shorter one, they've tried to throw to the outside. Romo's been caught short, having to heave it down the field. Be interesting to see if they try to sneak it in there with a trap or a draw on this shorter 3rd down.
So do they risk the run here on 3rd and 2? Jason Witten comes in motion to the left, and they flip it to Dunbar, and Dunbar will get the 1st down. So Lance Dunbar and Tyron Smith with the good block at left tackle. That's the 2nd superb one he's had, and shaken up once again is Nick Fairley. 2nd time he has been injured in this game. And we're going to take a timeout. Here is the 1st down pitch to Dunbar. Nick Fairley getting his helmet back on. Leads to believe won't be long before he gets back into the lineup. Replaced by Andre Fluellen. It'll be 1st and 10 at the 44. And here is the end around play to Terrence Williams. And Williams with DeAndre Levy making the tackle after the gain of 5.
Nice job by Tyron Smith. He's getting challenged on the outside by Ziggy Ansah. We talked about the pressure Detroit can bring on the inside. All the attention they have to bring inside because of Sue and Fairley. That leaves the tackles one-on-one. And so far, Tyron Smith is doing a great job with those one-on-ones. And right here, you can see Rod Marinelli. He's getting after his troops.
2nd down and 5. Just shy of midfield. Romo getting chased, and this pass incomplete, and it's Williams covered by Houston.
Yeah, I want to talk about Rod Marinelli here, but what he's not saying is, gee guys, I think we need to play better. I'm hoping you all understand how I can't tell you what he's actually saying because I'd get thrown off the air, but he's getting it. Yeah, he's telling this young line, okay, don't buy into that no-name defense stuff, guys. We have got to play better and put pressure on Matthew Stafford, one of the best defensive line coaches in the game, Rod Marinelli.
Former head coach of the Detroit Lions for a couple of years.
So you know this means something to him.
3rd down and 5. Crowd in it now. Romo, and incomplete, trying to get it to Harris, and it's incomplete, and it is 4th down. Well, watch 30 minutes of live NFL games free now through October 29th. Call NFL to download now. We had a good replay of the pressure in this game. We've had lots of it thus far, but still no sacks by either team. As Chris Jones kicking to Jeremy Ross, with Brian Broyles shaken up on the last kick. Fair catch for Ross at the 13. 10-7. Who expected this? Well, Matthew Stafford will try to change it for the Lions when we return midway through the 3rd. Well, the Lions will start on their own 13, and they've committed 3 turnovers today after only 1 in the previous 3 games, and it's Sean Lee who's been the chief culprit. Lee with 2 interceptions, and Jeff Heath forcing a fumble. Joik Bell to the left of Matthew Stafford. 1st down, pressure coming in, and the pass is complete to Bell, and the running back Bell. And you can see the Cowboys trying to knock the ball out. It was Heath who tried to punch it out of his hands, but 22 yards when all is said and done.
Nice play design by Scott Lanahan, the offensive coordinator. You're going to see here what you can't see is Reggie Bush running across underneath. That pulled all the underneath coverage and snuck Joik Bell out to the right side, getting the big offensive line out in front of him. Excellent play design by Scott Lanahan, the offensive coordinator.
So a 1st down for the Lions up to the 35. Reggie Bush. Reggie Bush. Good run by Bush. Gets 9.5 yards. game break. Curt Menefee, take it away, Curt.
Well, people were wondering if Jimmy Graham would be able to play today with that bad foot. He barely practiced. So what? That's his second score of the afternoon. 13 yards on that one. Saints in control. 28-10 over Buffalo in the third. Dick and Ryan.
Tough to win in New Orleans.
Yeah, it took a little time, but going in, that's the thing I'm waiting to see in this league. Can you go on the road and beat the good teams? That's going to tell us who the playoff favorites are.
Cowboys think this is a tough road team to play. The Lions 2nd down and 1 on play action for Stafford. And Stafford getting away and will slide shy of the 50-yard line. And will get the first down for Detroit. Good pressure put on by Jarius Wynn, but Stafford equal to the task. Gets enough for the first down for the Lions.
They kind of dodged a bullet there just as Stafford was ready to throw. Just pulled his hand back in just enough to avoid Wynn stripping it. The Cowboys talked about the difficulty of getting to Matthew Stafford because he gets the ball out so quickly. So when he does hold it, they need to get home. Nice job by Stafford making something out of nothing.
Easier said than done.
Evidently not.
First down at the 47. And here's Reggie Bush. And stopped in his tracks by Marvin Austin, who was just signed this week after being released by the Dolphins, and the former Giant, drafted in the 2nd round by them 2 years ago.
Again, this defensive line, they just keep rolling through. I asked Sean Lee, can you even name the guys on your defensive line? I mean, they've been there. You got some guys only been there a week or so. It's his job to kind of keep them all lined up right and heading in the right direction.
They just plug them in, don't they? 2nd down and 9. Lions on their own 48. Stafford, and it's caught by Calvin Johnson, loses the ball, and is picked up by the Cowboys. And it's Brandon Carr. Brandon Carr won't go down. A 21-yard return and a penalty flag. So Matthew Stafford completes the pass to Megatron, who coughs it up, and the 4th turnover of the game committed by the Lions. That will be a fumble.
And you can see him at the bottom of the screen. This is the 2nd time Calvin Johnson's got his hands on a pretty big play.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, passing team number 80, 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. Dallas keeps the ball, first down.
And again, we saw Sean Lee, Mr. Everywhere, part of breaking that ball up. Brandon Carr catching the ball on the run. Matthew Stafford saying, what do I got to do? I get the ball there. No one's more frustrated with it than Calvin Johnson. He knows that not being able to secure the ball has left his team vulnerable.
Poirier committed the penalty. It was Church who jarred it loose. And the Lions, for the first time this year, committed as many as 4 turnovers, and giving the Cowboys a great opportunity here. A first down on the Detroit 35. Terrence Williams in motion. Joseph Randle. And Randle stopped for no gain.
Detroit continues to commit 2nd-level defenders, meaning their linebackers and, more importantly, their safeties, to stopping the run of the Dallas Cowboys. On first down, the Cowboys may have to take more shots one-on-one on the outside, because Detroit seems committed to not let the running game get cranked up on first down.
If you looked at the stats and who has the edge in rushing, passing overall, you think the Lions would be up big. 4 turnovers have short-circuited them. 2nd down and 10. And the crossing pattern to Bryant incomplete, and nearly Louis Delmas overran a possible interception.
That's when you're saying, you know what, where's our break going to come? We've seen 2 balls bobbled and offered up for turnovers by the Detroit Lions. Louis Delmas, if he'd just been inside a little bit more, he was so intent on probably making the tackle on Dez Bryant, he too would have had a tip up, an interception, and possibly pick 6.
Be a 52-yard field goal if the Cowboys don't get any yards here. It'd be a 52 attempt. And this pass intended for Harris downfield. And good defense by Don Carey. And that will bring up 4th down.
Detroit continues to take chances with one-on-one coverage. That's a testimony to Gunther Cunningham's faith in his secondary, matching up with the very talented skill positions of the Dallas Cowboys.
So Dan Bailey will come into. No, they're going to try the field goal from 53 yards. Dan Bailey, who connected from 53 yards earlier in the game. And this kick is good. His second of the game, matching his career high. He had a 53-yarder earlier in the game. And off the turnover, the Cowboys get 3 more and lead it 13-7. 13-7, the Cowboys lead. And Coach, when you look at Bryant with only 2 receptions, they're averaging 2.5 yards per rush. Their longest pass play is 17 yards. Yet they're leading the turnover story. Big.
Well, what do they say in real estate? Location, location, location. In football, turnovers, turnovers, and turnovers.
Jeremy Ross will return this from 7 yards in the end zone. Rushes off a defender, and then the kicker, Dan Bailey, is there, and a terrific return. 44 yards by Jeremy Ross.
Well, Dick, we talked about the class of Calvin Johnson. Right now, Dez Bryant's upset about something. And this is the point that Dez Bryant has to understand. This serves no purpose, okay? If I'm the coach for the Cowboys, you got to get this under control, because this temper tantrum, I don't know what else to call it, serves no purpose. Dez Bryant, if you want to help your team, grow up.
Wade Wilson didn't even want to look him in the eye. From the 37, first down for the Lions after the strong kickoff return. Swing pass to Reggie Bush. And Reggie Bush after the 3-yard gain. Turnovers looming large in this game.
Yeah, and they're the kind of turnovers where nobody wants to turn the ball over like this. The way it's fumbled the ball, that one's just flat. I guarantee you, Matthew Stafford had no idea. Sean Lee was there. Reggie Bush just got to be smarter with your fundamentals. Nobody wants to turn the ball over. Same with Calvin Johnson here. It's one of those tough things as a coach. You know, it's guys, we can't turn the ball over, and the players look at you like, okay, coach, thanks. We didn't realize that.
2nd down and 7, and Reggie Bush off left tackle for a minimal gain. By the way, the 74-yard interception return by Sean Lee was the longest by a Cowboy linebacker since, you all remember, Thomas Hollywood Henderson, who returned one 77 yards against the Buccaneers back in 1977.
Well, and you brought it up, Dick, because I'm looking at the numbers here. If I see 349 total yards by the Lions and what they're doing, you're thinking this thing should be the route, the offensive explosion we thought we were going to get. But again, the turnovers in Dallas being very opportunistic, taking advantage of it.
3rd and 4, tight formation here for Detroit. First down, going up the middle, and it's Durham. Chris Durham taking the place of Nate Burleson, who had the fractured forearm and hopes to get back after the bye week against the Chicago Bears.
And Matthew Stafford and Jeff Durham have a history together, both at the University of Georgia. They said that's what kind of allowed Durham to kind of hang around that comfort zone. And it's been a big contribution for them after losing Nate Burleson.
Kevin Ogletree splits to the top of your picture on first down on the 49. Here's Bell. And Bell gets to the 48 of Dallas. Sean Lee on the tackle. And they pick up 4. Well, if you want to know what it means to have 4 turnovers, teams since 2011 are 1-54 when they have turned it over 4 times, or -4 turnover margin since 2011. Cowboys haven't turned it over today. 2nd and 6. Stafford completes. And Calvin Johnson with another first down. And that will be the last play of the third quarter. Gain of 24. And the Cowboys are up. We'll continue after a break from your local Fox station.
Well, I tell you what, these guys either got way too much time on their hands or they are really big Detroit Lions fans. That or they love to play cats.
I think all of it may be true. We start the fourth quarter. Dick Stockton, Brian Billett, Laura Oakman, 13-7. The Cowboys lead the Lions. It'll be a first down for Matthew Stafford and the Lions on their 29, or on the Cowboy 29. And a timeout called by Dallas Cowboys using a second half timeout as we start the fourth quarter. And there you see the last 6 possessions for the Lions. 4 turnovers and 2 punts.
Well, Dallas defense was a man short. They only had 10 guys on the field. That's pretty sporting. Go up against Matthew Stafford in this offense with only 10 guys.
Stafford and Romo. Compare them today.
Well, these two quarterbacks, I tell you what, like I said, when they're good, they can be very good. The interceptions, both these interceptions, you know, again, the wrong place at the wrong time. One of them, Matthew Stafford, he just didn't see Sean Lee. The other one is actually a fumble because it kind of got bounced up in the air.
Tony Romo won last week with 2 interceptions and only 1 touchdown against the Eagles. A superb defensive effort. And let's not minimize that for the Cowboys, giving up 19 points to 2 divisional foes the last 2 weeks. Only 7 so far today. First down from the 29. Calvin Johnson reaches out and makes the catch. Boy, talk about extension. A gain of 26 with Brandon Carr trying to defend.
You can see at the bottom of the screen, obviously a fantastic catch, only superseded by what an incredible throw. Matthew Stafford could put that only one place over the top of Brandon Carr, and that's exactly where he put it.
221 yards, the 5th 200-yard game of Calvin Johnson's career. And here is Reggie Bush, and he'll lose yardage back to the 11-yard line. And a superb play by Barry Church, the free safety, and a loss of 7.
Look at this, he couldn't, if he put it any more shallow, Brandon Carr might have been underneath it. Wow, there you talk about bringing into sharp focus the size, the speed, the leaping ability. I don't have, I can't do the math, but you figure 42-inch vertical jump on 6'5", that's a big sweeping spot. 9 catches for 221 yards.
And his career high is 244 yards, so he's not far from that.
We'll get there.
It'll be second down and goal. Play action for Stafford. Looking for a receiver, goes underneath, and the pass is caught by Pettigrew. Down to about the 1. Sean Lee defending on the play, a gain of 8. So it'll be third and goal for the Lions. Remember, they went for it early in the game on 4th and goal and scored a touchdown. Down by 6.
Well, we're going to see, it'd be an interesting call here if they spread this out. And that's exactly what they're going to do. You might think about a quarterback draw here. Yeah, they've moved him out of the backfield. This might be a heck of a place for a quarterback draw.
The pass, and they have Johnson and Jeremy Ross in the same neighborhood, and Ross was the intended receiver, so it's 4th and goal.
Somebody's wrong here at the bottom of the screen. Jeremy Ross just bringing this flat route out underneath Calvin Johnson. Either Johnson wasn't deep enough or Ross here in the slot wasn't supposed to go to the outside.
So David Akers on to try a 20-yard field goal. Akers 11 of 14 for the year, and the kick is good. And so early here in the 4th, the big catch by Calvin Johnson, setting up Akers' field goal, and the Cowboys lead is sliced to 13-10.
Fox is sponsored by Land Rover, Above and Beyond. By Bud Light, official beer sponsor of the NFL. And by Old Spice. Get unnecessary freshness and start winning everything today.
And welcome back to Ford Field in Detroit. Want to remind you, we'd like to welcome the men and women in uniform serving around the world, watching today's broadcast in 175 countries and aboard ships at sea on AFN, the American Forces Network. Thanks for all you do. We hope you're enjoying today's telecast, and we can't say enough and do enough for our servicemen and women.
Absolutely. Any chance you get a chance to express that gratitude, do it. In an airport, pay it forward, right at the McDonald's. You got one behind you, pay for his meal any way you can.
And when we're on flights, round of applause when there are service men and women on board. Dwayne Harris on the return for the Cowboys. Tough to bring down, breaks away. And a superb return by Dwayne Harris of 33 yards to the 28.
This is just keeping the play alive. Remember, it was Dwayne Harris. We talked about the numbers that Tony Romo had last week in the win against Philadelphia. Well, the reason they were so suppressed, he did so much on special teams. Returned for a touchdown, setting up another score. Didn't have to do as much offensively.
And now he remains in the lineup as a wide receiver. So you got to think he's pretty durable. Hey, the passing yards, Coach, 311 to 88 in favor of Detroit at this point.
Well, Detroit keeps committing to stopping the run on first down, although they look like they're in coverage here. They may think that the Cowboys are getting ready to put it up.
Hand off to Joseph Randle. Randle gets 6 yards.
And all but on the road, I think Tony Romo is going in with a 2-play sequence in the huddle. When he sees a passive coverage like I just described, he's going to hand the ball off. And when he sees more pressure, then he might put the ball down the field. But right now, Detroit's got to do a better job with its standard front when they don't have a superior number count to stop the run.
Romo is 11 for 26, 88 yards and a touchdown. 2nd and 4. They spread out the receivers, and Romo going to take off and get the first down. Up to the 40. They may mark it at the 39. And you're right, he had that other play. Pressure on him. Hit 8 times, knocked down 5 times, and sometimes they do more damage than sacks.
They do. We were more impressed with the number of hits on the quarterback than sacks at the end of the game when I was coaching in Baltimore. We put a lot of hits on the quarterback.
Romo. Terrence Williams in stride. Terrence Williams in a foot race. And gets by Glover Quinn and gets the touchdown, 60 yards. Couldn't draw that one up better, Coach.
Well, kind of like the Calvin Johnson touchdown we saw earlier in the game. You run this kind of route, he's on the outside. He runs a slant on the inside. It depends what's underneath you. They cleared it out with Dwayne Harris. They brought pressure on the inside. There was nothing between him and Tony Romo to get a real simple slant route caught and let the athleticism of Williams turn it into a touchdown.
And there you can see Jason Garrett and Terrence Williams, 4th consecutive game with a touchdown, and that is a Dallas Cowboys record. Dan Bailey looking to give the Cowboys a 10-point lead, and he does. 20-10, the Cowboys trying to make it 3 in a row, are up by 10, still with plenty of time to go here in Detroit. And a big day for the 3rd-round pick from Baylor, Terrence Williams, who has set a Cowboy record for rookies with 4 touchdowns in as many games. And he started today with Miles Austin out of there. And a touchback. The Lions will get the ball back. Here is the move by Williams in the touchdown. And Des Bryant still has something to say.
Today's game is sponsored by Pizza Hut, stuffing 3 cheeses into their croissants. Well, this weekend, it's new.
And the Detroit Lions really have their work cut out for them now, trailing 20-10. Still plenty of time. But the Cowboys seem to have taken some sort of control here until Reggie Bush. See the Cowboys trying to grab at Bush and knock the ball loose, but he picks up 13 yards. And a first down to the 34 with Kyle Wilber bringing him to a halt.
And like we talked about Dallas and the 2-play in the huddle that Tony Romo orchestrated, obviously Dallas thinking it's a 2-score game now. We can be a little more passive. Don't let Calvin Johnson make the big play. We're going to see more of Reggie Bush running the ball as long as the Cowboys will give them the coverage in the front to allow them to do that.
Stafford 22 of 33, 311 yards, 1 touchdown, has thrown 2 interceptions. One of them not his fault. And here's a pass to Bush up the middle. And Reggie Bush close to the first down. Sean Lee was there to make the stop. Sean Lee with 2 interceptions today for Dallas.
And that was just an extended draw play, really, to Reggie Bush. Bring him on a shallow route underneath. Got the lineman downfield, convoying him, almost like a middle screen. A lot of diversity here in the Detroit Lion offense with Scott Lanahan trying to dial it up as many ways as he can. That clock becomes an issue now.
Fourth quarter numbers leading the NFL. Matthew Stafford, you can do just about anything on 2nd down and 1. Stafford will go deep, and falling down is Durham, and a flag goes down. Chris Durham, guarded by Orlando Scandrick downfield, and they're going to call the foul against Dallas.
Pass interference. Defense number 32. Spot foul. Automatic first down.
Scandrick on Durham again. But there again, we had one of these flags picked up later on where the feet kind of got tangled up. I'm not sure we didn't have the same thing there. And right now, Jason Garrett going, wait a minute, I've seen one of these, and it went against me in the first half. Why is it not that way now?
So a 21-yard penalty, now a first down on the 36 of Dallas. Reggie Bush, and runs right into Bruce Carter, the weak side linebacker, and is held to 2 yards. Game break time. Let's find out what Kurt Menefee has to report.
Well, proving it takes teamwork against the Dolphins. Watch this. Devin McCourty of the Patriots tips it. Marquise Cole gets the interception. Led to a 13-play drive and a 2-yard touchdown by Stephen Ridley on a 27-17 Patriot comeback lead. Dick and Bryant.
The old tip drill.
Yeah, getting the guy to catch it's easy. It's getting the guy that knows how to tip it. That's the tough one.
2nd down and 8 for the Lions. Trailing by 10. Stafford goes underneath to Reggie Bush and may have enough for the first down. They had to get to the 26. And Reggie Bush coming off and looks like the right shoulder as he comes off the field.
Again, Reggie Bush, it's always about how healthy can he stay, the hits that he takes. Hopefully that's just a burner. Needs to get the feeling back in it. Covering up the ball. He's not going to turn that ball over again. I promise you, or at least try not to. Just getting hopefully just a little bit of a stinger. He should be back in, hopefully.
So Joyce Bell replaces Bush. First down at the 26. Joyce Bell on the handoff, runs into his own lineman, changes direction, going to get a first down and a little more than that. And Joyce Bell, great awareness there, gets to the 10-yard line before Brandon Carr pushes him out of bounds, and a gain of 10.
Joyce Bell is the bigger back when they want to push and shove inside, but he's got good feet. Jim Schwartz says they're equally comfortable throwing the ball to Joyce Bell, getting him out of the backfield, because for a bigger back, and he's every bit of 220, he has got very good feet and very good hands.
First and goal, it's a 10. Calvin Johnson to the top with Brandon Carr defending. Looking that way. Here's Calvin Johnson. And did he get over? Stopped short of the goal line. It'll be 2nd and goal now.
Again, a nice job. Just these underneath throws. Stafford getting the ball out quick. Nice physical tackle here. Kind of spun Calvin Johnson around. As big as he is, can normally power his way into the end zone, but a nice job spinning him down and putting the ball in the 1.
Second and goal, and Joyce Bell goes in for the touchdown.
Well, we said Bell has great feet for a big man. Watch this. Just that little bit of side cut and then drop your shoulder and get into the end zone. And now he's going to enjoy the crowd. We've seen this before. He's leading his own cheer.
So Bell with the touchdown, and setting it up was Calvin Johnson as he's set up a couple of scores today. And Akers with the point after, and it's a 3-point game. 7 plays, 80 yards. In just under 4 minutes, 7:38 to go in the 4th, and the Cowboy lead is now down to 3. Joyce Bell with his 4th touchdown of the season. Reggie Bush, who went out with a injury to his shoulder, at 33 total yards on the 80-yard drive. And a report on Morris Claiborne, by the way, hamstring injury, and B.W. Webb has been in on the nickel. As Dwayne Harris goes back deep, Sam Martin kicking off. And now a tighter game with 7:38 to go in the 4th quarter. And running it out, Harris. And finally brought down at the 47. So Dwayne Harris taking it 8 yards deep. 56-yard return here.
Just the sheer speed of Harris jumps out at you right here. Little bend, and then he sees that alley on the inside, showing some strength as well. Stepping through a couple tackles. Again, last week was the difference maker in the win against the Philadelphia Eagles. Obviously setting up a big play here. They're not in 4-minute mode, but they want to run the ball or run as much clock down as they can if they move into, whether it's field goal position, they'd love to get a touchdown.
And what a way to quiet the crowd with a kickoff return after the Lions went in for a score. First down on the 48. Joseph Randle gets 3.
The Cowboys continue to run the ball on first down when they're given the right front. And right now it's even more important. We're a little over 7 minutes. They can hold on and take down a big chunk of this clock, move into a minimum of field goal position. Now make it a 6-point differential with less time on the clock could be huge.
Second down and 8. Romo, and a completion to Des Bryant. Turns around, stays in bounds, racing toward the end zone, and in for the touchdown. No complaints there, I'm sure, for Des Bryant. A 50-yard touchdown pass and run from Tony Romo, and the Cowboys strike back.
You can just watch him on the outside. It's just a little 9 route against a 2-deep corner who begins to lose ground. They're both going for the ball, hoping to either intercept it or knock it down, and that is Des Bryant. What he can do after the catch is what differentiates him from so many other receivers, even though he's a big physical receiver.
What a pivot and run for Des Bryant, his second touchdown catch of the game. And once again, Dan Bailey trying to give the Cowboys a 10-point lead, and he does. Well, Coach, they didn't use up a lot of clock, and they didn't control the ball, but they got 7.
Well, that's the other alternative. you can do what I was saying, crank the clock down, or, okay, we're just going to throw it down the field and get 6 points.
And did they ever? And it's 27-17, and Bryant is off to the races.
I think he's going to be a little happier on the sideline now.
2 plays, 52 yards, and 50 of them.
And this is what this guy gives you. Outstanding talent. Unbelievable burst for a man his size. Can be an impact player. if he can truly understand what the role he has on this team, and he'll get there. He's a young man still learning. But the Cowboys desperately need to see that Dez Bryant on a regular basis.
Second half, big performance, although he had a TD in each half. And for Tony Romo, how about this in the fourth quarter? Romo has thrown touchdown passes of 60 and 50 yards on consecutive throws. That's Tony Romo, the Cowboys, who lead by 10.
And we throw out statistics and numbers all the time. The Lions have 465 yards in offense to 257. But just shows you the numbers don't tell you anything. Turnovers and a Tony Romo making big plays when he needs to make big plays, as does Dez Bryant.
Jeremy Ross is back, and Dan Bailey will kick off. You know, now we have what we thought we might have, with each team coming back and punching and counter-punching and getting touchdowns. And the Lions will get it in the 20. Well, tonight, pivotal game for the World Series from St. Louis. Carlos Beltran and the Cardinals look to take a commanding 3-1 series lead. David Ortiz and the Red Sox try to battle back and tie the series. Tonight's starting pitchers: Clay Buchholz for Boston. Question is he healthy enough? And Lance Lynn for the Cardinals, who've been so effective at home this year after last night's game ending on an obstruction play, and they're still talking about that one. Lions with a first down at the 20. Once again down by 10. And this time Stafford going up on top to Calvin Johnson, who makes the catch. Incredible. 54 yards. Heath and Carr defending.
I'm going to steal a term from my daughter. Oh my God. This is the consummate Calvin Johnson. Two people draped all over him. You'd have no problem telling the quarterback, what are you doing throwing up a jump ball down the middle of the field with two defenders all over him? Well, because you've got Calvin Johnson.
And a career high reception yardage as Reggie Bush coming back from his little shoulder injury, and he gets 3 yards on the play.
Well, don't think that was an aberration. There's 2-on-1. He's going to use that 42-inch vertical jump. He's non-discriminatory versus teams, too. I'll do it against the Packers. I'll do it here against the Cowboys. Look at the leap this guy has. What it takes to not only get the ups that way, and right here, look at that right here. Just what Matthew Stafford says, I'm just going to put it up on the rim. I'm going to let you pull it off the top of the rim, and no one else can get there.
284 receiving yards, a career high for Calvin Johnson. Second down and 6. Here's Reggie Bush, and let's see if Bush was able to get the first down on that play. We have 5:15 to go in the fourth quarter, and a 6-yard gain and a first down for the Lions. Boy, we have had a heavyweight battle with the wide receivers, much heralded, in the quarterbacks coming up big here in the second half.
And at the end of the day, the stars are going to show up, aren't they, Dave?
Yes, they are. We're seeing it firsthand. First down on the 15. Stafford to the end zone and off the hands of Durham, incomplete. Second down and 10. How about that? Calvin Johnson has more receiving yards today than the Cowboys have total yards, and yet Dallas is up by 10, and partially or greatly thanks to 4 Lion turnovers. Stafford to Johnson, who gets inside the 10. Sean Lee right there with the play.
Again, Matthew Stafford, I'll get it there any way I have to. I can't go, I got to sidearm it in there, because if I throw it over the top, I may not have the trajectory I need to complete it. So he's fine sidearming that thing in there. Matthew Stafford, he's having a heck of a day, but right now he'd trade it for a couple touchdowns, because the yards don't mean a lot if you can't get the win.
Calvin Johnson, 12 catches, 290 yards. Third down and 4. Winding to 4 minutes remaining, and here comes Stafford, and Stafford close and stopped shy of the goal line. He stopped inside the 1.
Well, I don't know about this. He started to go down. He's not giving himself up. He's a ball carrier here. He's not going to get any protections, but yes, he was down. The ball, as he went to protect it, did not pass.
First and goal at the 1, and here is Reggie Bush. Bush trying to put his arm over. Touchdown! Reggie Bush got the ball over the plane and scores a big touchdown for the Lions. But it was Calvin Johnson. How many times have we said this? Who played the major role setting it up?
Yeah, and Calvin, this combination of Calvin Johnson, Reggie Bush is going to take the Lions far. They're generating all the numbers they have for a while. They're in a tough position now. I don't know that they think about an onside kick. I think they're going to kick it off, give themselves a chance to play defense.
And, of course, all scoring plays are reviewed. So, catch by Johnson. And they're going to see whether Bush gets credit for this touchdown. Not so sure. The touchdown by Reggie Bush is under review. The ruling on the field is that he was over. The ball crossed the plane for the touchdown. Take a look here.
You're going to see his knee is down, but from this angle, not sure if he's crossed the plane yet. Officials say that he has. It's a touchdown. You can see the ball clearly broke the plane of the goal line. We just didn't know for sure whether the knee was down before or after.
Second touchdown on the ground for Reggie Bush this year. And it was a first and goal play from the 1-yard line. So Lions would have had a couple of other shots if they hadn't. Want to welcome those who have just joined us here at Ford Field in Detroit. David Akers has just kicked an extra point to bring the Lions to within 3 of the Cowboys, and it's been that story in the second half where Dallas has maintained 10-point leads only to see Detroit come back. Dick Stockton along with Brian Billick and Laura Oakman, Calvin Johnson and Des Bryant living up to their advanced billing, especially in the second half. For Calvin Johnson, a career receiving yard day, 290 yards, and the 6th most in league history. And let's see what Calvin Johnson has done, Brian Billick.
Well, here you can see he takes a simple slant and goes 87 yards for a touchdown. Not a bad start to the day. Now a quick slant on the goal line. And here was the tough part. He's had 2 fumbles, if you can call them that. Now he gets in position for a score down the field, and then how he does this, there's very few people in the league that can go up over the top of 2 defenders and pull it down. Calvin Johnson, this is a class act, and as good a day as he's having, he'd trade it all for those 2 fumbles that he had, that one setting up a score.
And the Lions have turned it over 4 times. They have dominated passing and yarding advantages, but Dallas has the lead. And by the way, Des Bryant has caught 2 touchdown passes in his own right today. So the game at the half was 10-7. A lot lower than people anticipated, but lived up to scoring expectations in the second half. Here's Dwayne Harris running it out for Dallas. And he's had a superb day on the returns. And right now, game break, here's Joel Klatt.
All right, thank you, Dick. Just a reminder for most of you, coming up next right here on Fox, it's America's Game of the Week. RG3 and the Washington Redskins face Peyton Manning and the Denver Broncos, and Mike Shanahan's return to the Mile High City. Dick?
All right, Joel, thank you very much. America's Game of the Week coming up next. Tony Romo, since the first quarter, has been lights out. And a first down on the 19 for Dallas.
We're clearly in a 4-minute mode here. You want to crank as much clock as you possibly can.
Lions have all 3 of their timeouts remaining. The Cowboys just 2. Want to welcome our latest viewers to a tight 3-point game here in Detroit. Cowboys lead. First down from the 19. And a pass incomplete intended for Des Bryant, but a penalty flag is down. Let's see if Bryant was interfered with. He was covered by Rashean Mathis.
Pass interference. Defense number 31. Spot foul. Automatic first down.
Pass interference, first down, Cowboys.
You can see the safeties up in the box here. Tony Romo checked the play. They were anticipating run. I get the one-on-one coverage. I want to throw the ball because I'll take a first down anywhere I can get it. The question is, with this one-on-one coverage, how many times will Tony Romo take a chance as opposed to running the ball and crank down some clock?
Right hand push in the back by Mathis. First down and 10 at the 25. Cowboys trying to protect the three-point lead, and here is Joseph Randle, stopped in his tracks by DeAndre Levy, and a loss of 3.
Brilliant job by Levy, seeing that the guard pull just filled through the gap. That's a huge play now to take them back. You're going to see Levy just all of a sudden show up out of nowhere, that unblocked defender, what we call a free runner. And now that puts him in a much tougher down and distance. Second and real long. Detroit desperately needs that to get this ball back in their hands. Keep this at a third and long.
Second and 13. They go to Randle. Nothing there. Now it'll be third down and long after the 1-yard pickup. And a timeout called by the Lions. It is their first of the second half.
Good timeout use by Jim Schwartz. He had 3 timeouts. You can see here now third down hasn't been real productive. They use a timeout so that they can hold on to the 2-minute.
Let's take a look at the last drive here.
Well, he finally got it to Des Bryant. He was ranting and raving on the sideline. He says, okay, I'll throw it to you. You turn it into 6, I'll do it a whole bunch more.
Bryant, 3 catches for 72 yards and 2 touchdowns. Calvin Johnson, 12 receptions, a career-high 290 yards, and a touchdown.
But I want to say it again. Jim Schwartz used a timeout that forces them now to make this third down play. He should be able to get this play and possibly the punt if he wants to use a timeout, or use the 2-minute warning to get the clock stopped. We'll see if Dallas indeed wants to throw here.
Romo in trouble and throws it away. Lions got what they wanted.
And that's just what I was asking. You run the risk when you have to go to throw the ball on third and long. That stops the clock. That means Detroit now out top, outside of the 2-minute warning, and we get one-on-one coverage here with no place to go with the pressure. Now with 2:32 on the clock, and there's nothing at the bottom of the field either, you actually pick up an extra timeout because the 2-minute warning. This is going just the way the Detroit Lions wanted.
Willie Young put the pressure on Romo there. So Chris Jones is punting, and Jeremy Ross standing back. And Ross with the fair catch at the 33 with 2:24 to go and 2 timeouts left for Matthew Stafford and the Detroit Lions. Stafford 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions today. And trying to bring the Lions back here to a late win. Detroit trying to avoid back-to-back home losses. The Cowboys trying to win their 3rd in a row for the first time this year.
And the 3-point differential is huge here, Dick, because it gives Detroit a lot more options in their play calling. They want the 7, make no mistake, but they'll take the 3 short of that if they have to put this thing into overtime.
From the 33, Stafford sacked. And that is the first sack for either team today. And it was Jason Hatcher and a loss of 8.
That was huge. We talked about the reshuffled lineup of the Dallas Cowboys. The one remaining starter they've had from the get-go, Jason Hatcher, shows up huge with a simple stunt. This puts Detroit in a very tough position, all but at the 2-minute warning.
And DeMarcus Ware, you saw him inactive today. Jason Hatcher picks up his 7th sack. 2-minute warning here in Detroit. 2 minutes remaining. And it'll be 2nd down and 18 after the first sack of the game. Matthew Stafford quickly goes back and completes to Pettigrew, the tight end. Jeff Heath right there and a gain of 6. Lions have 2 timeouts remaining.
Excuse me. Whoever wanted Megatron, he's here in the slot. Excuse me, right into here. This is when you need him. Go ahead and throw it up.
They go down the middle, and the pass is ruled incomplete. Trying to thread the needle to Pettigrew again with 2 defenders all over Pettigrew, including Bruce Carter. So now it is 4th down.
Almost got it in there. I'm not sure. Again, Sean Lee, right place at the right time. I think we got just a bit of a hand there on it, even though Pettigrew probably could have pulled that in.
So it is 4th and 12, and it's all right here for the Lions. Matthew Stafford being chased by Carter, and his pass is deflected. Let's see if it's intercepted by Heath. And it's incomplete, but the Cowboys will take over on downs in any event. And for Matthew Stafford and the Detroit Lions, in a big battle that they needed, now trail by 3 and lose the ball late.
This is fitting. Probably been more fitting for it actually to have been an interception rather than downs, because that's the story of this game. Whether it's the interceptions or the fumbles that were actually labeled as interceptions, because that's the story of a game on a day when the Detroit Lions have better than 500 yards of total offense, but are kind of come away with a 27-24 loss to the Dallas Cowboys.
So the Cowboys will take it over on the 31-yard line after the incomplete pass. And 2 timeouts remaining for the Lions, trying to get off the field so that there are only 11 men on there. Ball is at the 31 of Detroit. Here's Joseph Randle. And the Lions call a timeout. They'll have 1 left. Well, coming up on the Pepsi Game Break Show, Kurt, Terry, Howie, Michael, and Jimmy will have scores and highlights from around the league, and the Fox Sports ticker has up to the second scores and stats.
Well, they could do that whole show just on this game right here. We've had it all. Big plays, turnovers, big receptions, big runs.
Turnovers big. 4 turnovers committed by the Lions.
Yeah, and again, here you go. Calvin Johnson kind of just tipped it up in the air. This one, Sean Lee doing a great job stepping under a slant that turned into a touchdown. Reggie Bush, just a mishandling of the ball that turned over the ball. And here again, Calvin Johnson firmly in control of it. And it just kind of gets hit and bounced up in the air for Brandon Carr. And
there's Sean Lee, who's 11 interceptions, most by any linebacker in the league in the last 3 years. Picked off 2 more today. 1 running back 74 yards to set up a Dallas touchdown. And so, since 2011, teams with a -4 turnover margin have only 1 win. They've lost 55 times, and that includes this result if it goes Dallas's way. Here's Philip Tanner, and the Lions will use their 3rd and final timeout.
And I promise you that's what you're going to hear from head coach Jim Schwartz in his post-game news conference. You can't go in and turn the ball over 4 times and expect to win. This is going to be tough for the Lions. This is 2 home losses. Last week against Cincinnati, this week against the Dallas Cowboys, if indeed this holds. Formula for being a champion and being in the playoffs, win at home, split on the road.
So they'll drop to 4-4, and the Cowboys will go to 5-3. And the first time they've won 3 in a row this year, and will extend their NFC best conference start to 5-0. That's the best since the 2007 campaign.
And get a little help from all places. The New York Giants upsetting, if you want to call it an upset, the Philadelphia Eagles 15-7.
So Dallas could have a 2-game lead in the division. And Des Bryant with 2 touchdown catches, including a great pivot on the sideline for 50 yards. And for the first time in 4 years, the Cowboys will have a winning record at the halfway point of this league. 3rd down and 14. No timeouts remaining.
Be shocked if they threw this.
Third down and 14. Tanner running outside and wants to stay in bounds, and he does.
Here's a tough dilemma. It's going to be holding on the Cowboys, and you can take the penalty and back them up, but that's going to cost you some time now. Of course, if you don't take it, it puts it in an easy field goal position.
But worse, it stops the clock. Jason Garrett telling everyone else to stay calm during this.
Yeah, and he's declining it because there he's opting to buy down the clock.
Holding. Offense number 77. Penalties decline. Result of the play, 4th down.
Now Jason Garrett has to make the decision. Do I want to attempt the field goal? It's certainly a makeable field goal, but a lot of things can happen on a field goal. Do I want to opt to just run another play and now let the clock wind down? Or in this instance, looks like they're going to go they're going to go with the field goal. And you got to have faith in your field goal team. How can you not want to go in there and secure this with a field goal? But a lot of things can happen, as opposed to saying, well, you know what, I'll run another play. Do I think the Lions can go close to the length of the field under a minute? But with, you're talking about Reggie Bush, you're talking about Calvin Johnson, I think I believe in my field goal team.
Be a 44-yarder. Don't forget, if they do miss it, field position would work for the Lions here. Dan Bailey is connected on 2 53-yarders, and this kick is good. Dan Bailey with his 3rd field goal of the game, giving the Cowboys a 6-point lead, and with no timeouts remaining, the Lions need a touchdown and an extra point to pull this game out. Let's take a look at the Lions' upcoming schedule. A bye week, then they play at the Bears, and 6 of their final 8 games would be against teams with losing records going into today's action.
But Pittsburgh's getting better. Tampa Bay obviously struggling. Green Bay always a big game.
And for the Dallas Cowboys, they will host the Minnesota Vikings next week. And they don't have an incredibly imposing schedule the rest of the way either, but there's no such thing as an easy game in this league.
New Orleans at New Orleans, you know, it's tough. Then they get the bye. The Giants in the division. The good thing for them is they've already swept the division, all but in the first half, at least the first go rounds of games. So that is huge, particularly with the rest of the division knocking each other off. We mentioned New York beat Philly today. So they're in great position. Jason Garrett, his post-game news conference, is going to be in a wholly different demeanor than that of Jim Schwartz, feeling good about where his team on right. What did I just say? Win at home, split on the road. This is a good split on the road against a good Detroit Lions team.
No question about it. The only losses the Cowboys have suffered have been against AFC West teams. And the Lions will have 1 minute and 2 seconds and no timeouts left, starting from their 20, needing a touchdown. So we call them the wrecking crew of Calvin Johnson and Reggie Bush. 412 total yards today. Talk about 1-2 punch. Johnson with 12 catches, 290 yards, and a TD reception. They got a 4-man rush, but everyone deep behind. And they go underneath to Reggie Bush, who will go out of bounds and stop the clock after getting no yards. So it'll be 2nd and 10.
Detroit's out of timeouts, so most of what they have to do, unless they take that big shot down the middle of the field for the big yardage, most of it has to be to the edges that allows the receiver to get out of bounds and stop the clock.
Well, Stafford has done this before. Not sure how many times he's had to do it with so many obstacles he faces here. Second and 10. Stafford breaking out, and the pass is completed to Calvin Johnson at the 37. Carr is there, gain of 17. And they clock it. You like the idea with a four-man rush? A lot of teams use 3 at the end.
Well, but we've also seen an inopportune sack at the right time can just kill you. It can kill this drive. So I'm okay with a four-man rush. You know, the old saying is 8 is enough. Okay, 8 ought to be enough in the back end.
You would think. Second down and 10. On the 37. Stafford going deep, and Durham has it. Chris Durham. Tremendous play. And now the ball is inside the 25 with 33 seconds to go and a first down.
It's rare to get a go route on the outside against a loose cover defense like this, simply because of the safeties playing a little wider. This is an unbelievably accurate throw. Big receiver Durham on the outside. I said you normally get the big plays in the middle of the field. If you can keep it outside to stop the clock, to get a big play outside, that's a gift from the football gods.
40 yards. And here is Stafford's pass, and Calvin Johnson stopped at the 1-yard line. The Detroit Lions. No timeouts left. Time is running. They're at the 1, and Stafford says, come on in. Reaches over. Touchdown.
Unbelievable.
Lions lost a heartbreaker last week. Big pass to Durham, to Calvin Johnson. And if you're the Cowboys, how do you let this happen?
They've got to review it. Obviously, it is a scoring play, but I tell you what, some key decisions here. And again, you knew it had to be Calvin Johnson to kind of get the thing started. Now they're going to come back and make sure Calvin Johnson doesn't get involved. Great play right here to bring it down to the 1-yard line. And then smart move by Stafford. Normally thinking we're going to clock it, That's what Dallas thought. You could see there was no push by the defensive line. They thought it was just going to clock it because of the time. That post-game news conference I was talking about?
Yeah, right.
The demeanor just changed a little bit. All those cameras that were in the Dallas locker in media room, that all just went to Detroit.
12 come from behind victories.
He's calling clock, but he's got some kind of verbiage or something to tell that offensive line. Or he just did it on his own. I'm watching the offensive line of the Detroit Lions. They had no idea Matthew Stafford was doing that. I'm telling you right now, that's just balling out by a Matthew Stafford, just being a heady quarterback.
And what does this mean? Going against the team he loved as a youth. From Highland Park, suburb of Dallas, Matthew Stafford, once again coming back and leading what would be a victory over the Dallas Cowboys.
That 623 yards looks a whole lot better right now. You're about to walk in there and say, well, forget the yardage. I don't care about it if it's a loss. Right now you can see Jason Witten and Des Bryant. Des Bryant pulling his spoiled child routine again.
And don't forget, we said 1 in 55 for teams that were -4 turnovers since 2011. 2 in 54 may be the number here. As the scoring review continues, you'll hear the roar. You'll hear the roar.
That is an unbelievable heady play by Matthew Stafford. Calling clock, clock, clock. The offensive line didn't budge. The Cowboys thought he was done. He's figured, what the heck? I'll take a shot. I'll just reach it over the goal line and get the score.
Now Akers trying to give the Lions the lead. Remember, there are 12 seconds left, and the Cowboys still have 2 timeouts left. Here is Akers, and he gives Detroit the lead, 31-30. Did Stafford tell his team that he wasn't going to clock it or not?
Now watch here. The action of Matthew Stafford, he's calling clock, 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 which is typically what you do. They have no timeouts. Normally, I think he's just trying to then verbiage-wise change it to a wedge. But watch the offensive line here. They're not going off like it looks like it's going to be a wedge play. The center, Dominic Raiola, did, thank goodness. I don't know if he knew it, Stafford. Maybe he just gave him that little pat that says, I'm going over the top. Heady play by Matthew Stafford. I bet you he did that a few times in schoolboy football in Texas.
I'm sure. So the Lions lead 31-30, and the Cowboys have one last gasp to try to get the ball in field goal range with 2 timeouts left.
Smiles all around. Don't you love this game? You're just seconds away from the total gut-wrenching depression. You know, with the entire week, the bye week. These guys have a bye week. Chris Durham here. That is a huge play.
That was the big play. 40 yards to Durham.
And both of those throws could not have been more accurate.
Calvin Johnson, 329 yards receiving, second all-time in NFL history to Flipper Anderson, who had 336. So now Sam Martin with a low bouncing kick, and the clock starts now. And trying to get out of bounds with 7 seconds, Kyle Bosworth. Well, the ball is at the 33. 7 seconds left. Matthew Stafford with 488 passing yards today. Remember, the halftime score was 10-7.
This is almost Hail Mary territory.
They got to get it to that line on the right that you saw, the red line.
They do have 2 timeouts, so
for Dan Bailey to try the kick. And they go underneath, and it's bobbled by Randall. The old Cal Stanford thing, and time runs out, and the Lions win it. Amazing. So the Lions go to 5-3. Their first winning record since the last year they made the playoffs. 2 years ago, avoid back-to-back home losses, and the Cowboys can't shake the 500 doldrums. They go to 4-4. Coming up next, America's Game of the Week.